Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation podcast. And immediately I want to address the censors who monitor the content of the community guidelines within TikTok. The New Health Conversation, which is a podcast and it's also a movement, over the last few months there have been several instances where you interrupted, stopped, or limited viewership or stopped our podcast altogether because of huge misunderstandings. Let's go through them right now so we don't have any problems moving forward with you in the future. Number one, you had said this was some form of disordered eating, which, number one, it is not. First of all, it's a registered trademark with the U.S. Patent Office. U.S. Patent Office does not give out registered trademarks to things that would be disordered eating. But number two, and the bigger thing to consider, this protocol called protein pacing is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. It's been scrutinized, it's been examined, it's been put at the highest levels of medical research. And not only is it safe, it's the thing they're now recommending that's basically going to replace every kind of diet that's out there. So instead of this causing any type of disruption or anything like disordered eating, and we'll talk about body dysphoria or body image in a moment, this is the safest thing that's ever been studied. They did massive research. So it is 100% safe. It had nothing to do with disordered eating. So that opinion that you had is just not factually correct from a medical standpoint. Number two, you had said that this was some form of body dysphoria or body image. Number one, this is a detox. And so what's important for people to understand and what we teach them is there's no such thing as getting fatter. You're born with a certain number of fat cells. You have the same number of fat cells at puberty you have when you die, and your fat cells expand or contract. That's the only thing that's happening. So when we're pointing out to people if they're having any bloating, it's not because they got fatter, it's nothing to do with body image. It's the body telling them they're storing chemicals inside their own body. On this protocol, where they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, it proved without a shadow of a doubt this is removing chemicals from the body. So if anything, censors, this is the safest thing that's ever been out there. It's the most heavily scrutinized. Next thing you said, we were diverting people away from TikTok to buy products. There are no products to buy. There have never been products to buy. We have no plans to sell products. You can go to our website, The New Health Conversation, and you'll see for yourself there's nothing to buy on that website at all, nothing. So that's not true. We're not diverting people away to buy products because there are no products. They get a grocery list and they don't buy anything from us. Last but not least, at least at one point you expressed you were concerned about original content or copyright material. The researchers came on our podcast and basically explained the studies and then said they wanted us to publish their studies on our site so they'd be in the public domain so the world can see them. So our website is completely transparent and the only thing on there is the medical proof. So hopefully we'll have no problems with you interrupting any of our podcasts moving forward. Thank you very much. Well, good morning, Donna, Jody. Good morning, Italian, Adelia, DG joined. Hello, everybody. So she lost 60 pounds in 90 days on a natural food detox. She'll never diet again. It's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. There are no pills, no products, and gain 9% lean muscle mass. You also can have a free weight loss analysis now if you want to do that. If you simply tell me how tall you are, male or female, tall, and your current weight, will tell you how fast you can lose weight. Typically in this, as a man or woman, you're going to lose as much weight in 4 days as 6 weeks of any diet. Now that may shock you. We have the medical proof to back it up. The thing that makes this so different, this is published, and it says right there, in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. It's been peer reviewed at the highest levels of medical research and validated in these 10 big medical journals. You won't find anybody, at least we can't find anybody on TikTok with one shred, one scintilla of medical proof. I'd love for anybody to put in the chat and tell me who it would be, because it'll be the first person we can find. And with all due respect, we see medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and fitness experts, but they don't have any medical proof at all. So you're basically basing your future on opinions. All they're giving you is opinions. What we're giving you here is actual medical proof. Oh, here comes some people. Okay, June, male, 6'1", 370. All right, June. First of all, at 6'1", a great weight for you would be no more than about, let's say 200 pounds. That would be ideal. That's going to be 170 pounds. June, the first 4 days, you're going to lose probably 10 to 12 pounds. The first month, you'll lose at least 30 pounds. You should be 340 after 1 month, about 310 after 2 months. It may slow down a little bit. So the third month, I'm going to say from 310, you should be down to about 190. The fourth month, 165, 265, sorry. The fifth month, 265, you should drop another 25 pounds, 245. So I'm going to say basically 7, 8 months max, you should be at about 200 pounds. So June, tell me how excited you'd be about that. And by the way, that was with no exercise. No, let's just think of making it up. Here's a 65-year-old man, June, 40 pounds in a month. Now notice, I gave you even a lower number. Do I think you could lose 40 pounds in a month? Absolutely. Let me show you someone about your weight and what they did. Now, I'm not going to promise you this, but this is what's possible. He was 390. He lost 60 pounds in 90 days. June, I'm not going to promise you that, but I gave you a low number. I said 30, 40 pounds. You might lose 50 pounds. June, how excited are you about the prospect of that? And it's not a diet, and there's no exercise, and there was no counting calories. And as a matter of fact, you'll find out in a moment as I explain to you what you do. Actually, 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day, and 2 days a week, you're actually going to have 8 meals a day. And it's a detox, it's not. Now, here's the website you can go to, June, at any point, and the only thing on the website is the medical proof. And if you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach. And the only thing you buy on this is food. There are no products to buy. We don't have products. It's basically food and then a completely new way of eating. So June, just give me a comment. How excited are you about those numbers? Does that excite you? I hope it does, because this could change your whole life. But look at that, 60 pounds in 30 days. And again, I'm not promising that, but I told you I thought 35 or 40 pounds. If you lost 50 pounds, would I be surprised? Absolutely not. But I want you to just see what's possible, okay? No one else is showing you anything like that. Now, the other thing, June, I want you to understand is this is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. So it's completely safe. As a matter of fact, with no exercise, he actually gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. So who else would like to know? June, 270 does. I'm not quite sure what 270, June, I'm not sure what 270 means. At 6 feet 1, I'm telling you right now, ideally, medically, you should be no more than about 200 pounds. So you're going to get to 270. So that's about 110 pounds. There's no way, I mean, you'll be there, I would say, within 3-4 months is the averages that we see. And keep in mind, June, that's without any exercise at all. So again, tell me how excited you are about that. Hello, Ewan. Hello, Susan. Susan twice. Hello, Joe. Hello, Daniel Murphy. Hello, 18. Hello, Tina. Again, who would like to know how this is possible? She lost 60 pounds in 90 days on a natural food detox. It is not a diet. It has nothing to do with counting calories. No one was allowed to exercise. And you can see there, it's backed and published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. There are no pills. There are no products. This is based on food and a new way of eating. And I'm going to explain it all to you in just a moment. So let me add, good, June. Good, June. And here's where you can go. Look. Give me a yes if you can Photoshop this or screenshot it, whatever you say, right? Here we go. The new health conversation right there. You got it? Okay, so now we got Sexy KK, 224.56. I'm going to take a guess that you're female. At 5'6", you want to be 5'6", you should be about 130 max. That's going to be 94 pounds. Okay, so let's get going. In the first 4 days, Sexy KK, you should lose 6 or 8 pounds in 4 days, okay? The first month, 225, you're going to lose at least 25 pounds. That's going to drop you right below 200 pounds. You should be about 199. The second month, it might slow down a little bit. So after 2 months, you're going to be 175. After 3 months, 155. After 4 months, 135. So I'm going to say 4 to 5 months max, you should be about 130. Sexy KK, tell me how excited you're going to be about that. And you're not doing a diet, and you're not counting calories. And she and everybody else wasn't even allowed to exercise. Let me show you another as far as what's possible. Look at Julie KK, 35 pounds in 37 days. 35 pounds in 37 days with this. And it's, again, it's a natural detox. It's not a diet. There's no counting calories. And none of them were allowed to exercise. Not that the researchers are against exercise. Excuse me, but the reason they didn't let them exercise was otherwise you say, oh, she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with diet and exercise. Does that make sense? So Sexy, you're very excited. Good. Here you go. Here's the website. I'm giving it to all of you. If you go to the website at Promise on My Kids' Lives, we're not going to contact you. We don't do that. We want you to see all the medical proof first, and then if you like what you see, everybody listen to me carefully. You scroll all the way down. It says free personal consultation. The consultation is free, and the coaching is free. How much is the consultation? Zero. How much is the coaching? Zero. We all got coached. The New Health Conversation, which I put down there for you, is a movement. Yes, KK, you got it exactly. The New Health Conversation. You go there, K. We will not contact you. No, we don't do that. But you get the freedom to look at all the medical proof, and then you decide if you like what you see. You get a free evaluation, and you get a free coach if you decide to do it. A couple more things. This is based on food, everybody. There are no products to buy. There are no pills. There's no elixirs. There's no supplements. This is based on food. I'm going to explain to all of you in just a moment how this whole thing works. It was developed by the top weight loss researchers in the world who had been paid for 40 years to analyze diets. And in 40 years, they never found a diet where people lost weight and kept it off. In 40 years. You all have experienced that. Everybody on here right now, you wouldn't even be on this podcast. If you had found a diet where you lost weight and kept it off, there's no way you'd be on this podcast. Be honest. You're seeking the truth. You're seeking an answer. The problem is, and I would ask you this, Sexy KK, help me out here. Are you aware of anybody on TikTok, Sexy K, with one shred of medical evidence? Give me a yes or no. It's very important as we move forward. I haven't done anything yet, Sexy KK. I'm asking you a question. Pay me back with a favor. Are you aware of anybody on TikTok with one shred of medical evidence? Just give me a yes or no. Anybody else can chime in as well. I mean, I'm asking you the question because there's a reason, okay? So again, no. Okay, so Sexy KK and everybody else on here, understand what you've been doing, because it was the only thing available to you. You've been relying, because they have no medical proof. There's not a person on TikTok we can find with any medical proof other than the pharmaceutical companies with the GLP-1s, and now this with this new protocol published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. So you're relying on your health on opinions, and it becomes really a popularity contest, right? Because you see on TikTok, you got medical doctors, you got chiropractors, dietitians, nutritionists, fitness people, all yakking without a shred of medical evidence. I would ask you this, now that you have the option, so Sexy KK, now you have an option. Put a 1 in the chat if you're okay with just opinions, like you want to continue following new opinions on TikTok, or a 2 in the chat says you only want to deal with medical proof. All of you, I'd love for you to comment. A 1 means you're okay with opinions because that's all you've had to rely on. 2 is the actual medical proof that you can go and see on our website. The medical journals are on the website for you to see. There's nothing for us to hide. We're totally transparent because we have no products to sell. By the way, you buy nothing from us. We don't have any products. You're going to buy food, you're going to get a grocery list, and you're going to then be taught a new way of eating. That's exactly what she did and everybody else. So Kay put a 2, yeah. What about the rest of you? Would anybody else like to comment? Look, it's not hard. I'm not going to call on you. Don't worry about it. I'm just wondering. You all have to understand that the only thing you've been following is opinions with no medical proof behind it at all. None, zero. They're nice people. I'm not going to disparage them. But if we just fair from a scientific standpoint of view, on the one hand, you have this published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. So it's been vetted, it's been examined, it's been scrutinized, and it's been scientifically proven that this absolutely works. People not only are losing the weight, they're keeping it off. In this case, she kept it off for 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. This is going to change the world. This is going to, for the people that are on here and the people that know about this, it's going to change your lives. Are you interested in changing your life? Yes or no? Or do you want to follow? They're nice people on TikTok, but they don't have any medical proof. What the hell are they telling you to do without a shred of medical evidence? And that's all you've been following. Again, somebody else gave me a 2. Thank you, Charles. I agree. And I just want to emphasize, does everyone understand? Put a yes or no in the chat. Does everyone understand the significance of a peer-reviewed human trial study? Do we even know what that means? I'll give you a hint. No drug ever can come to market unless it goes through a peer-reviewed human trial medical study. And yet you're following people that are telling you things like time-restricted eating, don't eat for 16 hours and eat for 8. The proof behind that, it's the worst of all the diets. In a year's time, they only lost 7 to 11 pounds doing 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. But it doesn't matter. Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, count your macros, time restrict. They're all nonsense. None of them work long term. None, zero. If you don't believe me, again, I only give you medical facts. Here's Medicare. Listen, everyone. Medicare search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The researchers at Medicare looked at the long-term outcomes of diets and found that 2/3 of all dieters on any diet gained more weight than they lost. That's all of you. Did you hear what I just said? 2/3 of you are going to end up weighing more than you did when you started. I hope it makes you mad. I hope it makes you really, really mad, because these people inadvertently are giving you lies. You can't find, I mean, we're going to have, listen, Johns Hopkins Medical School predicts obesity apocalypse in 4 years. 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese in 4 years. That's 86% of you. What are you doing? You're doing what you had available to you. It's not that you're not smart. You only could go on the information that was available to you. But the information available to you was an opinion. It wasn't any facts. I hope it makes you mad. Now you have a chance to hit the do-over button. Or not, that's not up to me. That's why we offer you the website to go to for free to see the medical proof. And then we coach you and educate you for free. We all got coached. And we got people volunteering left and right. They want to help you because someone helped them. It's the darndest thing that's great. The New Health Conversation is a movement. It's not a company. We don't have anything to sell you. We have education. That's what we're giving you, and that's what we need. We need medical proof. We don't need opinions from nice people that smile and maybe they got great skills, communication, but that doesn't change your life. You can lose as much weight in this in 4 days as 6 weeks of any diet. Here's the website again. I'm going to put it in the bottom for everybody to see. It's the New Health Conversation. If you go there, there's absolutely nothing to buy. Nothing, zero. And you can change your whole life if that's what you want to do. Or you can continue to follow opinions, which is the only thing you have available to you on TikTok or any of the social media, to be quite honest. So I'm posting it at the very bottom of the chat. You'll see it right there. Hold on. There it is, the New Health, right under Cherie. It's right under Cherie, the New Health Conversation. If you go there, we will not contact you. Do you understand? We don't need to do that. But if you go and you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free consultation and a free coach. How much is the consultation? $0. How much is the coaching? $0. How long do they coach you until you get to your goals? I know it sounds good to be true. Now, for some of you are probably, who the heck is this guy? Well, let me show you who I am. You know what they say, it ain't bragging if you can back it up? Well, I'm going to show you my bio right now, and then you make a decision if you want to listen to what I'm telling you, compared to the people that you're following, okay? So the New Health Conversation is the movement that I founded 23 years ago. We've helped 800,000 people. Oh, I'm the author of 4 best-selling books of some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 appearances on public broadcasting, and I've done over 1,500 live lectures around the world before COVID in hospitals and universities and towns. They even flew me to China. I also was a keynote speaker at Autism One in Chicago 2 years in a row, the largest autism conference in the world. So I got a little bit of background, 23 years of research, but I didn't do these studies. We're bringing you the knowledge. Our job at the New Health Conversation is to bring you the latest and greatest science. So if we're giving you anything, it's not based on an opinion. It's based on science. Like I just read to you from the huge study at Medicare. Well, would it shock you to know that Harvard Medical School now has come out and said, stop counting calories? Harvard Medical School, the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, she says. We've been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories 3,500, you lose a pound. But as it turns out now, experts are learning this age-old calorie counting strategy is totally misguided. That's Harvard Medical School. And yet you're following these people on TikTok telling you it's about a calorie deficit. No, it's not. That's one of the dumbest things we ever came up with as human beings. Let me explain to you why. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. It's never counted a calorie. You can't be hungry for calories when your body doesn't even know what it is. Here's why your diets don't work, and then I'm going to explain to you why this does work. On a diet, all you're doing, you're lowering the amount of food you're consuming. But did you ever consider, or did they ever tell you that the thing you're really lowering by eating less food, you're getting less nutrition? Your brain calculates nutrition to run all your organs, your brain, your kidney, your liver, your heart, etc. So you go on a diet, you reduce the amount of food, you reduce the amount of nutrition. The brain now thinks you're starving to death, because from a nutritional standpoint, you are. What does it do? It looks for nutrition to keep you alive. Where does it find it? One of the richest sources, in your muscles. It's not up for debate, everybody, that 25 to 40% of what you're losing on any of these diets is your lean muscle mass, which slows down your metabolism, and that's why you gain all the weight back. But it does much worse things. By losing lean muscle, you also slow down your own immune system. But here's a big one. They just came out and said elderly people with loss of lean muscle mass, major contributing factor to dementia. So losing lean muscle is a really big deal. And every one of these diets, 25 to 40% is lean muscle mass. We'll show you about the shots. The shots unequivocally, 40% of what they're losing on the shot is lean muscle mass. That's why the people coming off the shots, they're gaining the weight back. Maybe it took them 6 months. They're gaining it back in literally a few weeks. It's just unbelievable what's happening, but it makes sense scientifically, okay? So let's talk about, finally, what the hell is this guy talking about? Let's talk about what you can physically do. So let's look at it. The researchers who created it, not us. They're voted, though, the top weight loss researchers in the entire world. They were paid for 40 years to analyze diets. As like I said before, they never funded diet in 40 years where people lost weight and kept it off. 2/3 of everybody gained more weight than they lost, because 25 to 40% of what they lost was lean muscle. So these researchers found other researchers who've gone to areas in the world where nobody was overweight. And these areas were in places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. And the secret, it was so simple. These people simply ate food that was available to them, not to us necessarily, with huge amounts of nutrition. And therefore, they ate less food. I'm not kidding you. That was it. So the researchers, and here's what you would do on this. The researchers developed for you and for me a grocery list. So if you took your total budget last month, all the dollars you spent at the grocery store, you take 30% of those dollars. That's all you need to spend this month at the grocery store for proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. Keep in mind, everybody, you buy nothing from us. There's no lotions, there's no potions, there's no pills, elixirs. No. You're buying food, 30% from your grocery store. The other 70% of the food comes from these regions where no one's overweight, in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. And what that means is that you're getting massive amounts of nutrition in less food. So then they put together a new way of eating. So it wasn't just like you're going to eat this stuff. No, it's when, how. So they created something called protein pacing, which actually is a registered trademark by the U.S. Patent Office. You all can go look it up. 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. What? Yes. You're going to start the day with what the researchers call the world's most perfect foods. From a nutritional standpoint, these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand have about 300 different nutrients. Yeah, not 30, 300. And unless you're on a prescription for low iron or calcium, you don't need any other supplements at all. Breakfast. This is 5 days a week until you lose your weight. Breakfast, the world's most perfect food. Lunch and dinner from your grocery store, and a 4th meal, the world's most perfect food. You heard me right. 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day until you lose your weight. 2 days a week, no food from your grocery store, only these world's most perfect foods. And this time, she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half for 2 hours. And now the key to this, what about the 48 hours? Why is that so significant? Because that's how she detoxed. So let me give you a quick lesson. First of all, let me ask everybody, do you believe we're living in a toxic world? And do you believe you're toxic? Because what we know medically, we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals. As those chemicals enter our body, the body takes the chemical to protect us and stuffs it inside our visceral fat. And those fat cells here, see, here's why you're bloated. You didn't add fat to your body. That's a total lie. You have the same number of fat cells at puberty you do when you die, give or take a few. So this whole thing about you getting fatter, no, that's not true. Your body is warning you by the bloating you're experiencing. Those are chemicals, and your fat cells are expanding like a balloon where you put air in it. Well, they proved on those 2 days where you have no food from the grocery store, you're only having these world's most perfect foods 8 times a day. Now, let me tell you one other part. Every night when you go to sleep, as long as you don't eat too late, your body detoxifies in a process called autophagy, when your body gets rid of the dead cells. Every night. You don't have to do anything except don't eat too late, okay? They basically wanted to set out and improve, the researchers now, that they could cause detox by giving her these foods from around the world 8 times a day. She was getting small amounts of food, but huge amounts of nutrition. So she was never hungry. But the nutrition was important to fuel the body's own ability to remove these chemicals, proven through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, not a marketing hype. Also, they saw inflammation, which plagues every one of us, came down 25% in a month. The diabetics in this had to cut their insulin by 50% in a month. I'll show you before and after here in a moment that'll blow your mind. So basically, 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, 2 days a week, 8 meals a day. I mean, I know it's hard for you to believe because you've all been on diets and you're all about deprivation. Your hunger only comes from lack of nutrition. If you give your body enough nutrition, you're not going to ever be hungry. And the key is, can you get the nutrition in the least amount of food? That's what this program's all about. You buy 30% of the food. If 30% of what you can spend at your grocery store leaves you 70% to buy these exotic foods or world's most perfect foods from around the world. Now, maintenance is simple. Like this morning before I came in the studio to shoot the podcast, I had the world's most perfect food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. 23 years ago, and I've been able to maintain it for 23 years. This is not a short-lived deal, and maintenance is so simple. So I do, every morning I have the world's most perfect food. It's kind of like, why wouldn't I do that? And then every 2 months I do another 48-hour detox because the toxins are not going on vacation. So hopefully that explains it to everybody. Now, if anybody wants to know, if you'll tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are, and your current weight, I'll blow your mind. You're going to lose as much weight on this in 4 days as 6 weeks of any diet. Keep in mind, at any time you can go to the website. There's nothing to buy there, but just go to free consultation, free coaching. How much is the consultation? $0. How much is the coaching? $0. Why wouldn't you go and at least go look at the medical proof? There's an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the whole world. In the whole world. Why wouldn't you go there? I don't know. So, MM, female, 4'11", 145. Well, good morning. Okay, at 4'11", MM, you want to be about 100 pounds. That's 45 pounds. MM, you're going to lose first 4 days, 5 to 7 pounds in 4 days. The first month, you'll lose about 20 pounds. You should be 225 after 1 month. It'll slow down a little bit the second month, 225, about 110. I'm going to say, I know it's going to blow your mind, in 2.5 months, there's no reason you won't be 100 pounds. MM, did you hear what I said? 2.5 months, 10 weeks, you should be about 100 pounds. Put in the chat, tell me how blown away you are by that. By the way, that was with no exercise. You can exercise if you want to. They weren't allowed to exercise because they wanted to isolate. Otherwise, you'd be saying, oh, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with exercise. So M&M, how excited are you? Yeah, wow, I'm glad you feel that way. And here's the website, M&M. And did you get to hear me do the explanation about how this is a detox? It's not a diet, and the only thing you're buying is food from your grocery store, 30% of what you spent last month total, and 70% of the money left over goes to these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, and then 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, starting with these world's most perfect foods for breakfast, lunch and dinner from the grocery, and a fourth meal from these world's most perfect meals, and then 2 days a week, you're eating 8 times a day, no food from your grocery, only these world's most perfect foods. You heard that? Yeah, that's the website you can go to, MM. But did you hear the explanation that I had gone through just a few minutes before to walk everybody through how this actually works? So again, everybody, she lost 60 pounds in 90 days on a natural food detox. She'll never diet again. Backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trials, there are no pills, no products, and she gained 9% lean muscle mass, and she's kept it off for 9 years. And what I've been doing for people, you get a free weight loss analysis. You can get it right now. You don't have to. Or you can just go to the website, which I put. Good, M&M. Does it make sense, M&M? Do you understand why it's not a diet? And do you understand why this can work for you by allowing your own body to detox and get rid of chemicals that we're all storing? You're not going to get rid of all of them in 30 days or 60 days. That's why maintenance is so important. But I want to make sure you understood that. So who else would like to ask me a question? Or if you want to tell me, are you male or female, how tall you are, and your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. Excuse me. Who else would like to know? So Factamona. Oh, that's a cool name. follow the live creator. Good. So M, you're clear on where to go right there. The New Health Conversation. Don't go to The New Health Conversation, even though it's on my bio. That's my TikTok site. My TikTok homepage. I've got 1,500 videos, but there's no medical proof there, and you can't get a coach. So make sure you go to The New Health Conversation. That's true for all of you. So who else would like to know, if you'll tell me, are you male or female, how tall you are, and your current weight, and I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. Who would like to know? Good, I'm happy for you. You're looking for a new, also, I didn't even tell you, most women on this, in the first week, in the first 7 days, they lose 1 dress size. So you can imagine in a month, you're going to have to buy new clothes or have a seamstress take your clothes in. You are going to shrink. Well, look at how much she shrank. It almost looks like, a lot of people accuse me, oh, it's a different woman. No, it's not. It's the daughter of a friend of mine. We're scientists. And if I show you, let me show you somebody else here, Look at Julie, everybody. 35 pounds in 37 days. That's not a misprint. 35 pounds in 37 days. And if you look at her before and after, that's not body image. That's nothing to do with body dysphoria. That's her body showing her she's getting healthier. They're shrinking the fat because the body, this protocol is removing fat from, removing chemicals from her fat cells, and the fat cells are shrinking. You don't lose fat on a diet or at the gym. Complete lie. There's no such thing. If they're telling you you're burning fat at the gym, they're full of it. You have the same number of fat cells at puberty you have when you die, give or take a few. That's it. Oh, good, sweet thing. 5'7" at 210. Again, sweet thing, based on your picture, I'm going to assume you're female. Okay, at 5'7", you're pretty tall. 130 would be a great weight for you. That's about 80 pounds. Sweet thing, the first 4 days, you should lose 6 to 8 pounds in 4 days. The first month, you're going to lose probably 25 pounds, so you should be 195 after 1 month. It'll slow a little bit the second month, 175 the second month, 155 the third month, 135 the fourth month. So basically 4 months in about a week, 2 weeks at the most, you're going to be 130. Tell me, sweet thing, how excited would you be about that? And all these people she was not allowed to exercise. So, you can see she lost 35 pounds in 37 days. I'm not promising you that. Here's another example. She only had 30 pounds to lose, sweet thing. She lost 21 pounds in a month. So you have more weight to lose. So you're going to lose more weight. And I'm giving you unbelievably ultra conservative numbers. I was talking, good. And do you understand where you can go here? And it's free consultation and it's free coaching if you decide to do it. Now, did you get a chance to hear, sweet thing, when I walked through exactly what you do, why it's not a diet, and it's based on food, nothing you buy from us. 30% of the food any of you would buy is from your grocery store. The other 70% of the money you have left that you're not spending goes towards these foods that are called the world's most perfect foods. They come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, representing huge amounts of nutrition in small amounts of food. And that's what makes this protocol work. See, you've never been hungry because you didn't have enough calories. You've never been hungry because you didn't have enough food. The only way you can ever be hungry, ever, is lack of nutrition. It's that simple. That's what these researchers proved and did. And look at her stomach on day 1, sweet thing. Look at that. That's with no exercise. That's not body image, everybody. That's the detox. Oh, no, just came on. Okay, well, I'm going to explain it to you then because I need to explain it to everybody, all right? So would anybody else, before I walk through again, Dora's Cakes and Cake Designer, Tracy, there's Sweet Thing, Gordon, J. Marie, okay. So for all of you, I'm going to walk you through again. I'll go as fast as I can, but I don't want to leave out anything. Just be patient. It might take me 2 minutes, 3 minutes to do it. It'll be worth it. This information I'm about to share with you could change the rest of your lives, and I don't say that lightly. Well, let me ask you a question, sweet thing, before I do that. Are you, or anybody else that's on here right now, can you put in the chat for me a yes or no? Are you aware, sweet thing, of anybody on TikTok or YouTube with one shred of medical evidence other than just opinions, where this protocol, you all need to understand, is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world? It's gone through the scrutiny, the medical examination. Number 1, it's safe. And number 2, everything I'm sharing with you is backed up medically. Nothing I'm sharing with you is my opinion. Zero. I'm not giving you opinions. We're giving you scientific. The thing about the New Health Conversation, we're so proud. We only give you medical proof. We don't have any opinions because we don't have any products. We have no products to sell you. You don't buy from us. You're going to buy 30% of the food on this from your grocery store, leaving you 70% of the money to buy foods you can't buy in any grocery store anywhere in the world. These foods come from where? Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, representing what the researchers call the world's most perfect foods from a nutritional standpoint, which is the only thing your body cares about. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how the numbers happen. Oh, J. Marie, 5'4", 163. Hello, J. Marie, 5'4". You want to be no more than about 120, 43 pounds. J. Marie, get ready. The first 4 days, 5 to 7 pounds in the first 4 days. The first month, you'll probably lose close to 20 pounds. You'll be 143 after 1 month. The second month, it may slow down a little bit. From 143, you're going to drop down to about 128. I'm going to tell you right now that in 10 weeks or less, you're going to be about 120. J. Marie, tell me how excited. I know it's mind-boggling. I know you can't believe it because you're all excited, typically people, about losing a pound a week. They're averaging a minimum of 5 pounds a week. Well, you can see right there, J. Marie, she only had 30 pounds to lose and lost 21 pounds in a month. I know for a fact that in 7 weeks she was down 30 pounds. And we're only talking for you a small amount of weight to be losing. So, but give me in the chat, J. Marie, are you excited about those numbers? Come on, give me an adjective if you can even believe it's possible. All right, so Tracy Wright, 5'6", 190. Tracy, at 5'6", a great weight for you, about 140, okay? That's 50 pounds. Tracy, first 4 days, 6 to 8 pounds. First month, Tracy, probably 25 pounds. So you should be right about 165 after 1 month. It'll slow down a little bit the second month. At the end of 60 days, you should be 145. So basically, in 2.5 months, Tracy, you're going to be 140. Tell me how excited you'd be about that. And look, here's Julie. Look at this. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days. Now, I'm not promising you that, Tracy. Could it happen? Yes. But are you going to be mad at me if you only lose 25 pounds in the first month and in 2.5 months you're down to 140? Would you be very excited? All of you. Now you're starting to get it, everybody. And I promise I'm going to walk you through how that's possible. So, Tracy, here's the website you can go to if you choose. And if you go there, Tracy, we're not going to contact you. We don't do that. What we do is we give you the option to scroll down to the bottom and get a free coach and a free consultation. How much is the consultation? $0. How much is the coaching? $0. What do you buy from us? Nothing. What are you buying on this? Food. 30%. If you take your total food budget, Tracy or J. Marie, take 30% of the dollars you spent last month. That's all you need to spend at the grocery store. You're going to need a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables developed by the top. That's what she ate. Then 2 days a week, no food from your grocery store. That's the other 70% of the money you have left goes to these foods that come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that are called the world's most perfect foods because they have so much. They have about 300 different nutrients. 300, not 30. So unless you're on a prescription for low iron or calcium, you don't need any supplements at all. I know this sounds good to be true, but keep in mind what makes it different is we're the only ones with medical proof. So let me explain to you what they did. So it was developed by the top weight loss researchers in the world who were paid for 40 years to analyze diets. You know what they found after 40 years? They never found a diet where people lost weight and kept it off, and 2/3 of everybody gained more weight than they lost. Because the weight they were physically losing, 25 to 40% of it was not fat, it was lean muscle mass. Backed up by the fact that all diets, here's Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers at Medicare looked at the long-term outcomes of diets and found that 2/3 of all dieters on any diet gained more weight than they lost. That's all of you. Would any of you on it? Be honest. Not with me, with yourselves. Would you be on this podcast right now if you'd found a diet where you lost weight and kept it off? Can you afford not to listen to how they did this? So let me finish. So again, it's pretty simple. You're going to get a grocery list you take to your grocery store, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, based on serving sizes, not calories. And at most, you're going to spend 30% of what you spent last month. Other 70% goes to these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, representing these huge amounts of nutrition. And then they invented a new way of eating called protein pacing. You can look it up. It's registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. And it's now been published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. So they've scrutinized it, that it's safe and it's real, and everything I'm sharing with you is medically backed, not an opinion, okay? So 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. You're going to start breakfast, the world's most perfect foods. No food from your grocery store. Lunch and dinner from your grocery store. And a fourth meal after dinner, the world's most perfect foods. Then 2 days a week, no food from your grocery store, only these world's most perfect foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. This time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half to 2 hours, if that makes sense. And what was happening is her body was detoxing. Now, let me ask you all a question. Give me some yeses or nos. Do you believe we're living in a toxic world? And do you believe you're toxic? So please, any of you put, what moves you to support this? Why do you care? Being sarcastic. I'll tell you my story in a moment, Jay Marie, I promise you, okay? But let me finish explaining. Okay, so yes, we're toxic. All right. So as a matter of fact, have any of you ever heard of this new medical syndrome? It's called the TDOS syndrome, the T for toxicity, the D for nutritional deficiency, overweight, and stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. It was discovered by this researcher, Peter Greenlaw. Well, Jay Marie, that's me. I discovered a medical syndrome that every person in the world has, so maybe you want to listen to what I'm saying, okay? And then I promise I'll tell you what my motivation is here in just a moment. So basically, what happens is every night when you go to sleep, your body suspends digestion and you detox in a process called autophagy when your body gets rid of the dead cells. Well, the research is, is not powerful enough to pull the, see, here's what we're doing. We're drinking, breathing, eating chemicals. That's the TDOS syndrome. As they enter the body, the brain, to protect us, takes those chemicals and stuffs it inside your, what's called your visceral fat, is the fat that wraps around your organs, and those organs can expand or contract. That's it. And they proved through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. Now remember, each week, 5 days, 4 meals a day, including lunch and dinner from your grocery store. 2 days a week, no food from your grocery store, only these exotic foods, 8 times a day. Now the reason they did that is in order to detox your body, you have to slow down digestion. So they were able to give her small amounts of food with huge amounts of nutrition, and she detoxed. Now, how did they know? Because they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, and proved without a shadow of a doubt this was removing chemicals from her body, and that's why she shrank, and that's why the weight came down as well. And also, you got to understand they're keeping it off. She's kept this weight off for 9 years, right? And the last two things. One, they also measured inflammation, which plagues all of us. It came down 25% in a month. No one's ever seen anything like that. And then maintenance is simple. This morning, where I came in the studio to do the podcast, I had breakfast, the world's most perfect foods, and then I'll have lunch and dinner today. And then every 2 months, I do another 48-hour detox. Why? Because the toxins aren't going on vacation, okay? So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And we've provided you with a free website to go to. And then I want to tell you all what motivated me to do this. Okay, so I just put in the chat for all of you the New Health Conversations right at the bottom. Okay, Jay Marie. So there's a couple parts to my story. Part number one is my mom was morbidly obese my whole life, and I never knew her thin, and I never knew her healthy. And about 24 years ago, she called me up one day and said, you know, Peter, I had a wonderful dream last night. I said, what, Mom? She said, I dreamt I spent one day thin. Not a week, not a month, not a year, one day. And I said, wow, Mom, that's really great. Well, Jay, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. I miss my mom like crazy. I loved my mom. I didn't care how big she was. I cared how big her heart was, and she loved me, and that was what mattered. But I was so furious. My mom had been on every kind of diet, Jay, you can imagine. She did the cabbage soup diet. She did the grapefruit diet. She followed Weight Watchers, you name it. Lose 20, gain 25 back. Well, little did I know that about 2 years later, I go in my yearly physical. My doctor basically says to me, if you don't do something radically different today, you're going to be dead in about 18 months. My cholesterol was 400. My triglycerides were 300. I was 40 pounds overweight, and my risk of a heart attack was at 85% out of 100. Within 18 months, with 2 kids in middle school, I was scared to death. And a friend of mine who played professional football for the Oakland Raiders turned me on to this whole concept of detoxification. I went on it, Jay. I lost 8 pounds in 4 days, 12 pounds in 9 days, 20 pounds in 18 days, 30 pounds in a month, 40 pounds in 7 weeks. And 8 weeks later was scheduled with my doctor to follow up. He came in. This time he threw my chart down. He said, Peter, you're trying to kill yourself? I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, the lab made a mistake. I said, how so? He said, how much Lipitor are you taking? I said, Doc, I haven't touched it in 2 months. I'm not suggesting anybody else do this, by the way. And anyway, my cholesterol went from 400 to 120. My triglycerides 300 to 30. My heart attack risk went from 85 down to about 5%, and here I am still alive. And then through fate, a doctor friend of mine invited me to a dinner with the chemist who invented this. It was invented, by the way, by a diabetic chemist more than 25 years ago. And to shorten the story, I told him my story, and he pulled me aside after dinner and said, I need someone like you to tell the world about it. And I said, that's great. He said, hell, I don't even know what a calorie is. And he said, we'll teach you. And that's how it all started. So anyway, Jay Marie, that's my motivation. Number one, in memory of my mom, I started the New Health Conversation. And Jay, we've helped 800,000 people just like you in 23 years. 800,000, not 8,000. So this dream, I never imagined that would happen. I would never imagine, let me show you my bio, not to impress you, but impress upon you. I've written 4 best-selling books to some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I've done 20 appearances on public broadcasting and over 1,500 live lectures around the world in universities and hospitals. Heck, they flew me to China even to lecture. And I also was a keynote at Autism One in Chicago, the largest autism conference in the world, 2 years in a row. A big soft spot in my heart is obviously for children. So hopefully that's enough reasons why, Jay, you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing and bringing this knowledge to you and to everybody else that we can touch. Does that make sense to you, Jay? Yeah, I don't always tell that story because it really, Jay, the thing that's so sad and ironic at the same time is if my mom could have done this and had the kind of success, I mean, her dream, Jay, her dream was to spend one day thin. You know, I've worked with people that weigh 600 pounds, okay? We're used to it all. Well, look at her. This is the daughter of a friend of mine. How different do you think her life is? 60 pounds in 90 days, and she's kept it off for 9 years. And, well, obviously she's older now, but she was, in her mid-20s when that picture was taken. I mean, Jay, we're going to change the world for the people that are open enough to understand. Jay, let me ask you a question, okay? Are you aware, Jay, of anybody on TikTok or YouTube with one shred of medical evidence? Just give me a yes or no. Oh, I submitted. Okay, but Jay, you can help me out here. So Jay, just give me a yes or no. Are you aware of anybody on TikTok or on, no, okay. So would you agree with me, Jay? That means what everybody's doing up until today, you were relying on opinions. Would you say that's true? Because what else were they giving you? And I'm talking about medical doctors. I mean, it became a popularity contest, isn't it? I mean, Jay, I'm sure you've tried diets before. So you followed somebody. It was a dietitian or a nutritionist or a celebrity or someone telling you about how great it was. But the only thing they ever gave you was an opinion. Jay, they had no medical proof, did they, unless I'm wrong? So Jay, here's some facts, some opinion, yes. Beachbody, nonsense, not a shred, not a shred. When we're talking about medical evidence, Jay, do you understand a peer-reviewed human trial study published? Do you understand? I didn't know what they were 25 years ago, so don't feel bad. I'm not trying to make you feel bad or I'm smarter than you. I'm not. Okay, so imagine, Jay, it gets published in 10, not 1 or 2 or 3 journals, 10, like the Obesity Journal, Frontiers in Physiology, Nutrition Journal, Nutrients, Frontiers in Nutrition. Nature Communications is the number 1, 2, or 3 journal in the world. And the study they did on this, Jay, had nothing to do with weight loss. It was about gut health. And they showed in just 30 days people with Crohn's and colitis and irritable bowel and leaky gut and acid reflux, major drop in their symptoms. We're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any medical conditions. Jay, this is not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And if you believe, you told me that you're toxic, why in the world, I'm not saying you do this after this today, why would you allow yourself to store chemicals in your body? And why, I don't believe, Jay, given the choice now, and I do this all the time with people, I love audience participation. So Jay, prior to today, you had one choice, and that was to follow the opinions of whoever it was you wanted to follow. So that means that people, give me an honest appraisal here. If you put a 1, don't do it yet, but if you put a 1 in the chat, it tells me you're okay with opinions. Now you can't pretend you don't know. A 2 would mean I want to go with medical proof. So Jay, would you do a 1 or would you do a 2? I know what the answer is going to be, but just humor me. Ah, I have a master's degree. Great. But I'm telling you, Jay Marie, most people don't understand the significance of a peer-reviewed human trial study. And none of these companies, none of these protocols have peer-reviewed human trial studies. And the studies that are done on diets, Jay, are miserable. They're miserable. Here's a study, Jay, in the Journal of the American Medical Association, one of the top 10 journals in the world. A 12-month study, they looked at all the major diets in 48 studies, 7,286 people. By the way, Jay, this study, it's on our website. So I'm not making things up. I'll give you the short version. They named all the major diets in 12 months, and they found the most amount of weight loss on any diet to the least amount of weight on keto, paleo, Mediterranean, time-restricted, Jenny Craig, diet after diet after diet, was 2 pounds in a year, and the most amount of weight anybody lost, Jay, in a year was 16 pounds. And 25 to 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. I mean, that's what's out there. And that's what people accept because that's all they know. Now let's take a look at the shots, Jay. I'm not against the shots. They help diabetics and they're helping people that are morbidly obese. But let's look at the real numbers. And I want to show Julie over here as a comparison. So on this study, semaglutide, 68 weeks, Julie. 68 weeks. Not 6 or 8 weeks, 68. A year and 4 months. The weight loss up to 68 weeks, I'm reading from the report, the weight loss up to 68 weeks was 32 pounds, and of the 32 pounds people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. So it took them 68 weeks to lose 32 pounds. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days and gained 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. Jay, am I onto something here? I don't give people opinions. My opinion shouldn't matter to you or anybody else. What should matter is medical proof, medical science, irrefutable medical proof. I mean, there's a 12-month study, 16 pounds in a year, all of you. What the hell are you doing? And then Medicare says 2/3 of all diets that they analyze, the dieters, 2/3 of them gained more weight than they lost on any diet in this study. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Medicare's trying to bring healthcare costs down. They don't have any dog in this hunt. None of these things work, everybody. This works. It's got the medical proof. Well, again, the coaches will go over all that with you. Basic, I can tell you, Jay, most people feel at worst $25 to $30 more a week than what you're spending now, total food. Remember, you're only buying 30% of the food, Jay, from your grocery store. It leaves 70% of the money you typically spend. The other thing I should tell you, Jay, most people in this within 5 days, all their cravings are gone in 5 days. I guess the only way you're going to know is to experience. But here's another great thing about this, Jay. Yeah, well, let me tell you the latest evidence. Talk about the GLP-1s. Now, you can Google this, by the way. It's a big study done, just published in the last couple of weeks out of Australia. Jay, wait till you hear this. The GLP-1 starvation epidemic, a medical disaster unfolding in plain sight. These so-called miracle weight loss injections, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Tirzepatide, are being pushed as the ultimate fix for obesity. But behind the glossy ads and celebrity endorsements lies a truth. They are systematically starving millions of users from the inside out. This isn't a side effect. This is full-blown natural catastrophe that doctors only now waking up to. Here's the raw, unfiltered data. Scurvy is back and it's hitting modern patients. Australian researchers just exposed the scandal. After 17 years of clinical trials on the shots, the researchers did not bother to track what patients were eating. Now we're seeing real cases of full-blown scurvy. Yes, Pirates disease, bleeding gums, open wounds, total exhaustion. British star Robbie Williams publicly blamed his 2025 scurvy diagnosis on these shots. I stopped eating. I wasn't getting nutrients. This is 2026, not 1700. How the hell did we let this happen? Up to 40% of your weight loss on the drugs is precious muscle, turning you frail and broken. Forget the scale victories. You're losing lean muscle mass at terrifying rates, especially if you're over 40. This accelerates sarcopenia, osteoporosis, heart failure, and permanent metabolic damage. I mean, this is medical proof. If this only happened to 10 people, it would be too many. Because think about it. All it's doing, a diet, listen, I don't care what the name of the diet is. All they're doing is reducing the amount of food you're consuming. Did they ever tell you you're reducing the amount of nutrition, which is the only thing that runs your body? Your body doesn't run on calories. This is a disaster. And people coming off these shots, they're gaining like a half a pound a day. We're not here to discredit the shots. Diabetics need it. People morbidly obese. but 32 pounds in 68 weeks versus 35 pounds in 37 days. Jay, can you see how amazing this is? Oh, you must be, I bet your name's Tracy. I didn't realize that. Okay, well, I've been only calling you Jay because that's all that was available to me. But are you excited and enthusiastic and at least curious about this? The other thing I should tell you, Jay Marie, when you go to the website, I didn't even tell everybody the bonus. So everybody, take your total expenditure, whatever you spent for food last month, take 30% of those dollars. That's all you're going to spend at the grocery store. Now, another thing, the grocery store in the first 30 days, say this doesn't work, they're not going to refund your money. But listen to this, Jay. The other 70% of the money you'd be spending on the exotic foods around the world, if it doesn't work, 100% money back guarantee. They'll even pay return shipping. We have nothing to do with that. That's how confident they are it's going to work. And of course, nothing is 100%. But it's so rare that anyone would want a refund. I mean, do you think she wants a refund after 35 pounds in 37 days? No way. I know it's not. Okay, great. Thanks for stopping by, Jay. I hope you'll go to the website. I'll put it down there one more time for everybody to see. The New Health. It's the New Health Conversation, everybody. You can go to and see the free medical proof. Hold on. I just got to type it correctly, which I didn't do. New Health. I get so excited sometimes I type too fast and then I make mistakes and then I give you the wrong spelling. Okay, there it is. The New Health Conversation. All of you can go there at any time. It's free. Now, a lot of you have already come on, but I want to offer you all a free consultation if you want it. If you'll tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are, your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. I'll give you a hint. You're basically going to lose as much weight in 4 days as 6 weeks of any diet. Now, lest you think it's just, young people. Here's a 65-year-old diabetic man, everybody, 40 pounds in a month. Look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. That's in 30 days. We've had medical doctors and nurses come on and say that is almost impossible from a medical standpoint of view. It's not a diet. This is a detox. The main reason to do it is to maximize what we call your quality of life potential, which is that's your potential to maximize the way you feel and how healthy you are and your energy and your mental focus and lower brain fog and lower that discomfort that you experience as you get older, the stiffness and things like that. They proved in this, look at his stomach on day 1, everybody, and day 30. And no one was allowed to exercise. They wore Fitbits, including him, to prove they didn't exercise. That's not anything with the body image. See, what's happening to all of us, we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals, whether you know it or not. As they enter our body, the body, to protect us, takes the chemical and stuffs it inside the fat cell, and the fat cell expands like a balloon. Well, this protocol, through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, they proved this is removing chemicals from the body. That's why his stomach shrank, not because he did sit-ups or crunches or set foot in a gym. I understand it's revolutionary. I understand probably most of you are skeptical. But you can't argue with science is science. Science has no emotions. It has no agenda. It has no prejudice. Those numbers are the numbers. And what we have to share with all of you is peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. And he's not the only one. We've got, look at this guy, Ken, 34 pounds in 29 days, not even a month. That's more than a pound a day. I'm not going to promise you that. But if you did half of that, how excited would you be compared to any diet you've ever been on? And then we really get up into some big numbers. Here's Eric, 45 pounds in a month. That's 1.5 pounds a day. But when they say 60 inches, they're measuring like their neck, their chest, stomach, abs, thighs, calves, arms. That's a total measurement. But you can see how much he shrank. That's in 30 days. That's 30 days. Now that definitely looks like a different person. But it's the same person. Listen, we're scientists. We don't have to fake stuff. People accuse us of that all the time because they're so threatened. Because what they're doing, there's no way it's going to work. But they're holding on for dear life to that belief that they found a diet where they're going to lose weight and keep it off. But the scientific evidence doesn't support any diet. Well, as a matter of fact, Medicare did a big study on diets and found that 2/3 of all dieters on any diet gained more weight than they lost. Did you hear what I just said? So congratulations, everybody. Whatever diet you're on now, 2/3 of you are going to actually weigh more than when you started in the long run. Why do it in the first place, right? Tracy, right, I need this. Yeah. Well, Tracy, you may need this, but I'm sorry, you don't need it, but you might want to do it, right? So Tracy, did I give you, let me see, Tracy, let me just see something. I don't see, I was just seeing, Tracy, if I did an analysis for you. Tracy, right, I know, okay, so Tracy, if you'll tell me, obviously you're female, Tracy, just tell me how tall you are and your current weight, and I will blow your mind at how much weight you can lose so fast, and you're going to keep it off for the rest of your life. I mean, if you look at, this is the daughter of a friend of mine. So she lost, she kept it off for 9 years. And then if we look at this lady here. I love this picture because it's such a great human interest story. 200 pounds in 11 months. 200, everybody. And look at how much she shrank. Isn't that amazing? All right, so okay, so 5'6", okay, Tracy, if you're 5'6", okay, 5'6", ideal weight for you would be like 140 or below. Let's go with 140, that's 50 pounds. Tracy, first 4 days, brace yourself. First 4 days, Tracy, 6 to 8 pounds. First month, minimum, Tracy, 20 pounds. After 1 month, 170. After 2 months, 150. 3 months, less than 3 months, you'll be at 140. Tracy, tell me how excited you'd be about that. And keep in mind, Tracy, you're going to gain lean muscle mass. Right there, she gained 9% lean muscle mass, was not allowed to exercise. They were Fitbits to prove they didn't exercise. And here's the website you can go to, Tracy. And Tracy, did you hear me do the run through? It is not a diet, it's a detox, because we're all, well, do you believe, Tracy, we're living in a toxic world? And do you believe you're toxic? Because what we know is we're drinking, breathing, eating chemicals. As they enter our body, the body, to protect us, takes those chemicals and stuffs it in our fat cells, and those fat cells expand. That's why we have the bloating. You do not add fat cells, Tracy. You have the same number of fat cells at puberty you have when you die, and fat cells expand or contract like a balloon. On this, it's proven through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis that it's removing chemicals from the body. That's why they're shrinking, and that's why their weight's coming down, but they're able to maintain it. That's what you have to understand. I'll go over that in just a moment if I didn't. Copper versus Trima. Good, Tracy. Good. So obviously you believe we're living in a toxic world. So Tracy, did you hear me go through what you're going to eat, how you eat? That it's completely different. It's not a diet. You're going to be eating food. There's no supplements. There's no anything. Did you, yes or no? Tell me. Yeah. Well, Tracy, are you familiar with this medical syndrome called the TDOS syndrome? T for toxicity, the D driven by the lack of nutrition in our food, overweight, and stress. It's a registered trademark used patent office, Tracy. Every person in the world, you and me, have it. It was discovered by this researcher right here. You can read his name, Peter Greenlaw. Tracy, that's me. I discovered a medical syndrome that everybody in the world has. So maybe you want to listen to what I'm saying. I'm not just giving you opinions, okay? I'm not trying to impress you, but I want to impress upon you. I'm not just some person up here talking, all of you. I'm going to show you my bio real quick, everybody. Not to brag, but just show you, not talking to someone who's just, I fell off the banana truck last night. So I've written 4 best-selling books to some of the biggest medical doctors in the world, 20 appearances on public broadcasting, over 1,500 live lectures in hospitals and universities and towns. Hell, they even flew me to China, and I was a keynote speaker at Autism One in Chicago, the largest autism conference in the world, 2 years in a row. So I have a little bit of academic background, I would say, at a minimum. But I'm not trying to impress you. It's not about me. This is not my research. I didn't create it, but we're bringing it to you. That's our job at the New Health Conversation. It is a movement designed to educate you. And if you want to do the protocol, we will give you a free evaluation and we'll coach you the whole time for free. You buy nothing from us. This is based on food and a new way of eating. So again, Tracy, did you hear me? Tracy, you don't have to look up my books. I'm not trying to sell you books. Oh, and yes, you heard it. Okay, great. Tracy, there are no books to buy on my website. The only thing there, Tracy, you'll see and watch it. It's called 60 Minutes. It'll change your life. It's with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. And he will go over why they, as the top researchers, they invented this. They have no products. They don't have a company. But they'll never recommend a traditional diet to anybody ever again. And they were paid for 40 years to analyze thousands of people, never found a diet that worked. And so that's how this came about. They invented it. Isn't that cool, Tracy? Right, right. Well, you know about grounding, about walking barefoot on the grass. You know about that, or on a beach. That's wonderful. Do you know all about that? And as far as grounding goes, that's a whole nother discussion. I don't have time to get into that right now, but I'm a big proponent of that. There's no question about it. Tracy, not to name drop, but I guess I will. Have you ever heard of Dr. John Gray? He wrote the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Give me a yes or no. He sold like 200 million books and was one of the most popular people in the world outside of Oprah for a long, long time. He hung out with the Beatles, but anyway, he taught me about ground. He's one of my dear friends. As a matter of fact, he wrote yeah. So he wrote one of my most famous books is this right here. And there's no books to buy, so I'm not telling you that for that reason, Tracy. But Your Third Brain, and maybe you can even read John Gray, PhD, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. He wrote the foreword to my book, so I'm not just making up, name dropping. He's my friend. But that's how I know about grounding, okay? But I know I've had a great career so far working with some of the top people in the world, and he and I have done a lot with children with ADD and ADHD and also autism. So this is not really a weight loss program, even though people get all excited about the weight loss. Most people on this are so shocked they can't believe it. They think their scale's broken after 4 days. Because Tracy, they've lost the kind of weight in 4 days that would take 6 weeks on any diet, as I just proved to you. So again, anybody who would like to know, if you'll tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight, or I'll walk through the whole process. I know we have new people coming on here all the time. Would anybody like to ask me a question, or would you like me to walk you through how in the world did she lose 60 pounds in 90 days on a natural food detox? She'll never diet again, never. Why in the heck would you ever diet again when you go on this and you lose as much weight in 4 days as 6 weeks of any diet and you're able to keep it off? I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. So anyway, Tracy, I'm happy you know who John Gray is. And again, but Tracy, I want you to understand, and everybody else, it's not about me. They call me the researcher of the researchers. My haters call me a lot of other names, but let's just go with that, the researcher of the researchers. And so what I'm bringing to you, Tracy, is medical proof. Peer-reviewed human trial studies. You can't go higher than that in medical investigation, and we're very proud of what I do and what we're able to supply to the general public, people like yourself. So Tracy, I'm telling you, that website, it could change the rest of your life. Here it is again, everybody. I'm putting it in the free website to go to, and the only thing there is the medical proof. And you're all, unfortunately, up until this point, you've relied just on, well, let me ask you a question, Tracy. Are you, straight up, Tracy, are you aware of anybody, Linda Gerd Hansen, hello, I'm saying hi to you too. But Tracy, put in the chat a yes or no. Are you aware of anybody on TikTok or on YouTube with one shred of medical evidence until today? Other than the pharmaceutical companies, obviously, they have their studies on the GLP-1s. But give me a yes or no, Tracy. Are you aware of anybody on social media with any medical proof at all? So for the new people coming on, this protocol is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. And nope, yeah, exactly. And I was just asking Tracy, are any of you aware? Come on, let's have some fun. Let's make it audience participation, okay? I love comments. I'm live with you, everybody. I'm one of the top weight loss I'm one of the top, now I want to say that, I'm not going to brag. I just put it this way, I have a lot of experience. And I'm willing to give you a free evaluation, one-on-one. I don't get to do this. Before COVID, I'd done over 1,500 lectures, thousands. Well, the biggest one I did was 12,000 people at the Anaheim Convention Center. I can't go one-on-one with people like I'm able to do with you right now. Like Tracy, we're having a wonderful back and forth conversation. I love this. When would I get to do this other than right now? So again, anybody who would like to tell me, are you aware of anybody on social media with one shred of medical evidence? Who would it be? Who would it be? So Tracy said nope. Anybody else want to comment? Would anybody else like to know? If you'll tell me if you're male or female and how tall you are, I'll tell you how much weight you can lose in 4 days on this. You can get a free evaluation, get free coaching, and the only thing you buy on this is food. There's nothing to buy from us. You're pretty much going to spend, if you took your month's worth of groceries, 30%, that's all you need to spend at the grocery store on this. So pretend you don't have any food in your house. This is a good way to start. We're going to give you a grocery list developed by the top weight loss researchers in the world. You take it to the grocery store, proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables based on serving sizes. So you're going to buy way less food, leaving 70% of the money to go towards these foods that come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, representing what the researchers call the world's most perfect foods from a nutritional standpoint. They have about 300 different nutrients. So unless you're on a prescription for low iron or calcium, you need to know it all. Female, 79, 141. I need to know how tall you are. So Lindegard Hansen, I need to know how tall you are. You're female, I think you're 79 and you're 141, but please tell me how tall and I'll give you a quick evaluation. So who else would like to put in the chat you get a free consultation right now. Tracy, the whole thing, most people tell me they spend $25 or $30 a week more than they spend. Remember, Tracy, you're only buying 30% of what you spent or less. That's it. 70% of the money goes towards these other, I'm just telling you what people tell me. I mean, obviously, a lady last week, she's spending $50 a week on food. Oh, well, I think she's probably starving to death. That ain't going to work. But for most, I'm just telling you what, most people are shocked at how affordable it is, Tracy. And remember, you need no supplements, okay? So, okay, so you're 5'3", anyway, 141, correct? Okay, great. All right, at 5'3", at 141, at 5'3", you should weigh no more, 5'3", about 115. That's going to be, 115 is going to be, 26 pounds, okay? So first of all, Ingrid, you should lose in 4 days, you're going to lose 5 to 7 pounds. In the first month, a minimum of 15 pounds. After 1 month, you should be 126. So 2 months max, you should be around 115. 2 months. 2 months. So Ingrid, put it in the chat. And you can see there's the website. I put it right above your name, The New Health Conversation. Not at. Don't do the at, because that'll take you to my TikTok site where there's no medical proof and there's no way to get a coach. Just The New Health Conversation is where you go. Free consultation, free coaching. They'll give you a grocery list you take to your grocery store, but only 30% of what you spent, same to you, Tracy, answering your question, 30% of whatever you spent total at the grocery store last month, you're only going to spend 30% of it. That's my point. 70% of the money goes towards these foods you can't buy in any grocery store anywhere else in the world. And that's what you're going to be eating. And then 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. You're going to start with the Wilson's Perfect Foods for breakfast, lunch and dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal, the Wilson's Perfect Foods. Then 2 days a week, no food from your grocery store, only these foods from around the world that you're going to eat 8 times a day. And that's what allows your body to detox. See, because, and some of you may know this, some of you may not, but at night when we go to sleep, as long as we don't eat too late, the body slows down digestion, which it has to do, to then turn on a natural detox mechanism called autophagy when your body gets rid of the dead cells. Well, the researchers here, by incorporating no food from the grocery store, only these world's most perfect foods, and they could feed her 8 times a day, they could give her really small amounts of food with almost pure nutrition. They slowed down her digestive tract and it detoxed. Now, how do they know? Because they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved without a shadow of a doubt this is removing chemicals from the body. What else did they find? Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides all crashed. People that were pre-diabetic in the end of 30 days were no longer pre-diabetic. The diabetics in this cut their insulin by 50% in a month. But here was a big one, inflammation, which plagues every single one of us. It came down and was measured. It came down 25% in 30 days. Now, the good news is you can all see all this. No, you won't need to cook. No, not on those days. No, you won't. It's all, you'll understand. We have airline pilots, FedEx pilots, nurses in the ER, nurses in, trust me, they can do it, Tracy. Don't worry about that. That's why you want to talk to one of the coaches. But that's why this works, because it is duplicatable. It is what people can do. It's very easy to implement it. You'll learn. Like I said, go get a coach. They'll answer all your questions for free. You deserve to have your questions answered. But Tracy, don't you want those results? You're not going to get them any other way. Otherwise, you would have found something by now. You wouldn't be on my podcast if you'd found something that worked. I'm sure I'm right about that, correct? So again, Tracy, don't try to figure it out before you get a chance. And the reason we do the free evaluations, everybody, which we do, look, we have people with no thyroids. We have people with goiter, with Hashimoto's, hyperthyroidism, ladies, people with PCOS, perimenopause, menopause, and we're not curing, treating, diagnosing, or preventing any medical disease. Don't hear me say that. But the reports we're getting, they're tremendously lowering their symptoms. So hot flashes, less. Night sweats, less. Bloating, less. Mood swings, less. And of course, losing weight, especially perimenopause and menopause, that's what so many women are struggling with. No, not on this. You're able to lose the weight. Listen, we've got kids as young as 2 doing parts of this. We got a lady 92 years old who was on a walker 3 months ago. She fell down 4 or 5 times in a week. In 2 months and she wasn't on the full program. Within 2 weeks, no more walker. Now she's at 92, she's taking taekwondo classes. The body can do amazing if you give it huge amounts of nutrition. And the key is, can you give them this huge amounts of nutrition in small amounts of food? That's what they did. That's why this works. It's not a diet, everybody. Oh, Ingrid, okay, type 2 diabetic. Look at this, Ingrid. He's a diabetic, type 1, on insulin. Look at the numbers, Ingrid. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4 in 30 days. Look at that. Ingrid, comment. What do you think? 30 days, 8.4 to 6.4. How much would you like those numbers? What? A wild heart 58. You're a charlatan. Isn't that interesting, people? When people come on and make idiotic statements when they have no basis in facts. So let me tell you why I'm not a charlatan, okay? The only thing that I'm quoting is from peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. That's irrefutable evidence from the top weight loss scientists in the world. That's not you. Talk about a charlatan. So have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I wish you nothing but the best. Bye-bye. A charlatan, really. The thing that I'm not is I'm not giving you any opinions on my part. But you're listening to people on TikTok and these other social media platforms without one shred of medical evidence. We're the only ones that actually have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies in journals like the Obesity Journal, Frontiers in Physiology, Nutrition Journal, Nutrients Journal, and Nature Communications, one of the biggest medical journals in the world. Hardly a charlatan. Nature Communications, hardly a charlatan. It's just so ridiculous when people, everybody's entitled to an opinion. They can, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. It's so ridiculous. Do any of you feel like I'm selling you something? Do any of you feel like I'm trying to convince you of something, or am I educating you? Because we don't have any products to sell. So where would be my agenda? Where would I benefit from having you tell you something that's not true? So, oh, good, Tracy. Well, I hope you go to the website. That was me. Okay, I see, Tracy. Well, yes, of course, I'm pre-diabetic. Well, Tracy, you won't be in 30 days. See, Tracy, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It'll work. I mean, we can't have it so restrictive that someone like yourself that's working all day wouldn't be able to do it. That makes no sense. So, Tracy, I'm really excited for you to go and look at the medical proof, okay? So who else would like to know? Ingrid, are you cool now? You understand what this could mean for you and what it could do for you? And you see right there the New Health Conversation right above your name. Good, Tracy. I hope you will be. And Tracy, let me just, well, good, Phyllis. So, Phyllis, and you can tell me, it won't hurt my feelings. Honest to gosh, Phyllis, do you feel like what I'm giving you is value? Do you feel like I'm educating you versus selling you or convincing you of anything? Because I'm only showing you the medical proof. Now, Felicious, if you want to tell me, let me do something for you. If you'll tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. You don't have to. And again, at any time, you can go to the website. It's free to go there. And the only thing on there is the medical proof, including an interview with the top weight loss nutrition researcher in the entire world. And you don't have to believe me. See, when someone comes on and says something just so silly like that, like you're a charlatan or this is BS, they don't have any proof. It's just an opinion. because they're trying to put me in a box with other people that are just giving people opinions. I'm not going to call them names. I don't do that. But all I'm saying is you have a choice now, like Felicia's. You can either go with people on TikTok or YouTube with no medical proof. Those are opinions, okay? Opinions. They're entitled to opinions. Or you can go with medical proof, published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. What separates what we do from everybody else is we're the only ones with real medical proof. No one has any medical proof. Yeah, Felicius, I'll bet you are. Well, look at his stomach, Felicius. Look at that on day 1. Look at day 30. Even this young woman here, look at her stomach on day 1. Look at her stomach on day 30 with no exercise. They wear Fitbits to prove they didn't exercise. Why? Because otherwise you'd be saying, oh, she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. So Felicius, if you'll tell me, listen, Felicius, men lose 2 to 4 inches off their waist in a week. Women lose a whole dress size in 7 days with no exercise. Because I don't know if you're male or female. So if you're a man, 2 to 4 inches off your waist in a week, in 7 days, and you're not setting foot in a gym, and women lose a whole dress size in a week, we've got the medical proof to back it up. It's not an opinion. So Felicius, if you want to tell me, are you male or female, how tall, and your current weight, I'll blow your mind at how much weight you can lose in just 4 days. You've got to understand, we have irrefutable medical proof. We have medical proof behind everything I'm telling you. This is the only protocol you're going to see anywhere on TikTok with medical proof. What do you want, an opinion? Or do you want medical proof? As a matter of fact, I'll challenge you. Put a 1, are you female? Okay, Felicius. You're going to lose a whole dress size in a week. In a week. You don't think look at her stomach. Felicius, look at her stomach in 30 days and she only had 30 pounds to lose. And then if you look at Julie, where do you see this? Look at that. That's 37 days. Look at how much she shrank. Shouldn't she losing 35 pounds? Wouldn't you think she'd have loose skin, Felicius? You've got to understand, your stomach is going to shrink, not because of any body image, not because of exercise, because you're detoxing your body. Felicius, were you on when I went through? Felicius, let me ask you a question. Do you think we're living in a toxic world? And do you believe you're toxic? Yes or no? Just tell me, yes or no. Just give me a yes or no. Because I'm going to tell you why you have the stomach. It's not because you added fat to your body. That's a total lie. You have the same number of fat cells Felicius at puberty you have when you die. And what's happening to all of us, we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals. As they enter your body or my body, your body's taking that chemical, Felicius, and stuffing it inside your visceral fat, and those fat cells have expanded. That's why, with your term, the belly. But it has nothing to do with body image. It's your body warning you. You're storing chemicals inside your body. And this is proven through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis to remove chemicals from your body. That's why they shrank. Now, is it making sense? Felicius, are you still there? Are you still breathing? Come on. This is full-blown audience participation. I'm more than happy to tell you how much weight you can lose in just 4 days. Let alone you can get your goal weight and stay there and your stomach's going to be gone. I mean, this guy's 65 years old with no exercise. Look at his stomach. That's in 30 days, not 30 weeks. Never set foot in a gym. So, again, hi, Big Jeff. I'm waiting for anybody else that would like to tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight. I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. Felicius, I want to assist you. What do you mean? Of course we do. But again, how tall are you and what's your current weight? And then I'll explain to everybody, not just you, but exactly how this works. Well, Felicius, look at her. She lost 60 pounds in 90 days. And it looks like a different person, but it's the same girl. She's the daughter of a friend of mine. Felicius, I want to give you hope. I want to show you what's possible, but I just need you to tell me how tall you are and your current weight. Well, while you're contemplating that, let me tell you then, and again, we got 400 likes. I had 25,000 yesterday on one of these. Come on, everybody, let's get some taps. Let's support me. Pete, share the live, encourage more viewers to share. Thank you, Pete. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. Okay, so Felicius, I'm going to explain to you how this works to everybody, okay? First of all, okay, Felicia's 155. Okay, all right, Felicia's one challenge right away. It's not available everywhere in the world. I'm hoping you're in one of these countries, okay? Ready? It's available in Canada, the United States, Mexico, Puerto Rico, New Zealand, Australia, and anywhere in the EU. It is not available in the Caribbean. It is not available in South America. It's not available in Africa. It's not available in Southeast Asia. So are you in one of those countries where it is available, Felicia's? Because let's see, your height 156. Okay, hold on just a second. 156.52. Okay. So Felicia's, I need to know. I don't want to waste your time if you can't get, because 70% of the food that you're going to get comes from around the world, Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, but they don't ship everywhere. See, Felicia, sorry, they don't ship to South Africa. That's what I was worried about. Whenever I see kilograms and so I'm sorry, I can't help you because you can't get the stuff. So I don't want to waste your time. I'm sorry. I've had every day I have 2 or 3 people from South Africa, and it's not me turning you away. The researchers, they just don't have any capability to be able to ship to Africa. Maybe someday in the future, but right now, only countries that's available, everyone, is Canada, the United States, Mexico, Puerto Rico, New Zealand, Australia, and anywhere in the EU, and Cyprus. Now, I guess they've added Cyprus to a country that they can ship to. Maybe it'll be available in South Africa at some point, but right now it's not. So would anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to walk you all through how did she do this? How did she lose 60 pounds in 90 days on a natural food detox? So first of all, who invented it? Ingrid, I said hi to you before. Anyway, and Ingrid, are you cool on where to go? Just give me a yes, the New Health Conversation. You know that's where you can go to get a free coach and free consultation. So this was invented, everyone, by the top weight loss researchers in the world. That's not me. They had been paid for 40 years, 4 decades, to analyze diets and never found a diet in 40 years where people lost weight and kept it off. So they said there's got to be a place in the world where nobody's overweight. And they found these other researchers who had been going to areas in the world, in Russia and Mongolia and Tibet and South America, where nobody was overweight. And so what was the secret? The secret is so simple, but complicated. These people had access to food with huge amounts of nutrition, but those foods with those levels of nutrients aren't available even if you go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or you grow it yourself. There's no other place in the world where these particular nutrients and these quantities and these varieties exist. So the researchers, knowing that, came back and they put a food list together that you all would get. The food list contained proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables from your grocery store, wherever you live, but it only represents, if you took a month's worth of food, you're only going to spend 30% of your dollars at the grocery store. Let me clarify. There are no products to buy. This is all based on food. You buy nothing from us. We don't have a grocery store. So again, 30% of whatever you spent total last month, that's all you spend at the grocery store. The other 70% of the money you have left over goes to these other researchers, and they ship you these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that represent what the researchers call the world's most perfect foods from a nutritional standpoint of view. Let me explain. Those foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand contain over 300 different nutrients. So unless you're on a prescription for low iron or low calcium, you need no supplements at all. So those are the foods that she ate. In addition, she actually got, and this is critically important, this is the how she ate, called protein pacing. And each one of these yellows are daily videos from the researchers who created this, who, by the way, have no company and they have no products. They're scientists. And this is what they gave to all the people that I'm showing you in the before and afters. You would get this too from our coaches. The coaching's free, the consultation's free. You buy nothing from us. The only thing you're buying is from your grocery store, 30% of what you spent last month, and 70% of the money left over about pays for these foods around the world. Then they invented a new way of eating called protein pacing. It's a registered trademark with the U.S. Patent Office. Please don't get impatient. This could change your life. I can only go as fast as I can go. I know people get impatient with me, but I'm sorry. I'm a scientist. I'm laying out the evidence for you. So 70% of what you would consume doesn't come from your grocery store. So 5 days a week, you're going to start. 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day until you lose the weight. Morning, the world's most perfect meals, food for breakfast. Lunch and dinner from your grocery store. Dinner from the world's most perfect foods. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store, only these world's most perfect foods. This time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating an hour and a half for 2 hours. Now, if you're a diabetic, there were no insulin spikes. People who weighed 400 pounds weren't hungry. If I can teach you anything, it's this. You've never in your life ever been hungry for a calorie. The whole nonsense about calories in, calories out is total BS. The body can't count calories. The body has no idea what a calorie is. The only thing your body ever cared about and does care about is nutrition. Here's why your diets don't work, and here's why this does. When you go on a diet, you reduce the amount of food you're consuming, but what are you really reducing? The amount of nutrition. When your brain senses not enough nutrition, it freaks out, goes in starvation mode, and turns to your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back. But there's 2 other things that are unbelievably unhealthy for you. Number 1, by losing lean muscle, you slow down your own immune system. And number 3, they've now published in studies, older people losing lean muscle mass, major contributing factor to dementia. These are not things I'm making up. This is now in the scientific journals, okay? So effectively on this, they proved so 2 days a week, she's eating 8 times a day, these exotic food, the world's most perfect meals. So she's getting really small amounts of food with huge amounts of nutrition, which allows her body to detox. Now, how do they know it's a detox? Because they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving this is removing chemicals from the body. Not up for debate. That's why she shrank so much. And that's why people even say, oh, it's a different woman. It's the daughter of a friend of mine. It's not a different woman at all. We're researchers. We don't need to fake things. We have nothing to sell you. So what would we gain by giving you fake pictures? I mean, people can be as skeptical as they want to be, but that's not the reality of what we're actually doing, okay? And then maintenance is really pretty simple. Well, one other thing. They also found in a month, in the people on this, like the diabetics who are on insulin, cut their insulin by 50% a month. People that were pre-diabetic at the end of 30 days were no longer pre-diabetic. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any medical conditions. Don't hear me say that, because that's not true. All we're doing is sharing with you what's in these 10 medical journals, which have designated this as safe. And everything I'm sharing with you, the journals are on our website. Go look at them. There's a breakdown of the blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides. You'll see it all right there. We have nothing to hide. We didn't do the research. But there's the research for you all to see. And if you like what you see, you get to scroll down and get a free consultation and a free How much is the consultation, everybody? $0. How much is the coaching? $0. How can we do it? Because we've helped 800,000 people in 23 years. That's not why. But many of those people have had such life-changing results. They came back to us and said, look, we'd like to help somebody else. We got coached. I mean, so far it's working. So far we've been able, every one of you would get a coach free. How much is the coaching? $0. What do you buy from us? Nothing. What are you buying? Food. No supplements, no lotions, potions, pills, elixirs, no. So who would like to now ask me a question? If you'll tell me, are you male or female, and how tall you are, I'll tell you how much weight you can lose in just 4 days. Who would like to know? Who would like to know? Anybody? If you tell me how tall you are, male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight. Let me show you some medical data that will probably shock you. So many of you maybe are contemplating the shots. Now that you can take it as a pill, it's way less expensive. And again, we're not against GLP-1s. They're helping diabetics and they're helping people morbidly obese. But what are the real numbers? What are people actually really losing long-term on the shots? So let's go to the New England Journal of Medicine. This study, by the way, is on our website. You can go see it. Nothing I'm sharing with you, we can't back up. They're done in medical studies. You got it? The New England Journal of Medicine, this was a 68-week study. Not 6 or 8 weeks, 68 weeks. They looked at semaglutide, and I'm going to read from the study the results. These are the actual results after 68 weeks. And then we'll contrast that with Julie here in just a moment. After 68 weeks, the weight loss was 32 pounds, and of the 32 pounds people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. This is the New England Journal of Medicine. This isn't me giving you an opinion. Julie lost 35 pounds in 37 days. And she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. So you tell me, given the choice, with no side effects on this. And, there are side effects, obviously, to any drug. Let me give you some of the newest data on some of the new side effects from the GLP-1s. This is a study done out of Australia. You can Google it. You can look it up. Title: The GLP-1 Starvation Epidemic, a Medical Disaster Unfolding in Plain Sight. These so-called miracle weight loss injections and new research out of Australia, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Triepazide, are being pushed as the ultimate fix for obesity. But behind the glossy ads and celebrity endorsement lies the truth. The GLP-1s, are systematically starving millions of users from the inside out. This isn't a side effect. This is full-blown nutritional catastrophe the doctors are only now waking up to. Here's the raw, unfiltered reality. Scurvy is back, and it's hitting modern patients. Australian researchers just exposed the scandal. After 17 years of clinical trials on GLP-1s, the researchers barely bothered to track what patients were eating. Now we're seeing real cases of full-blown scurvy. Yes, pirate disease, bleeding gums, open wounds, total exhaustion. British star Robbie Williams publicly blamed his 2025 scurvy diagnosis on these shots. I stopped eating. I wasn't getting nutrients. This is 2026, not 1700. How the hell did we let this happen? Up to 40% of your weight loss is precious muscle, turning you frail and broken. Forget the scale victories. You're losing lean muscle mass at terrifying rates, especially if you're over 40. This accelerates sarcopenia, osteoporosis, heart failure, and permanent metabolic damage. Now, this was a smaller study. Obviously, the critics are jumping on it. What I'm saying to you, if it's one person, it's too many. But all drugs have side effects. If the overwhelming concern is, see, the number going down on the scale, what they're not telling you is 40% of that number is your lean muscle mass. You lose lean muscle, it slows down your metabolism, slows down your immune system, and it contributes now, we know later in life, the loss of lean muscle to dementia. So you now have a choice. You can make a decision. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days. The people in this New England Journal of Medicine lost 32 pounds in 68 weeks. And 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. So you tell me which one you would do. So again, who else would like to know? If you tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are, I'll give you a free analysis. Free analysis. Tell me how much. Again, don't you want to know? I mean, we've been doing this for 23 years. We've helped 800,000 people, not 8,000, not 80,000, 800,000. And we know, we have the analysis. We track people, if they were male or female, how tall they were, their starting weight. We know how fast they lost weight. Most people on this, men or women, lose as much weight in 4 days as 6 weeks of any diet. You can imagine how much that incentivizes you to continue. When you look at that number after 4 days, a lot of people think their scale's broken. They think, oh my God, it's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast on a diet. Well, it would never happen on a diet. Number two, they'd be accurate. Because on all diets, 25 to 40% of what you're actually losing is lean muscle mass. It's not up for debate. We know that to be a fact. So again, who else would like to know? If you tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight. But let's look at some other evidence here. Okay, let's look at Harvard Medical School. What are they saying? Here's a study from Harvard Medical School, Stop Counting Calories. Here's what they said. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. So Harvard Medical School is telling you, stop counting calories. Why are you counting calories? Your body has no idea what a calorie is. A calorie is a man-made fantasy in a laboratory. Your body doesn't count calories. The only thing your body can ever care about is nutrition. That's what this program is based on. But there's no supplements. There's no elixirs. It's based on food. Food is where we should get our nutrition, not in a pill made in a laboratory. And then here's another big study, why you shouldn't count calories. Our researchers found the truth is calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count, restrict their calories, gain back more weight than they lost. You tell me. 2/3 of everybody on every diet's gaining more weight than they lost. So congratulations, you're on a diet to gain weight. Another big study here, the science behind why diets don't work. Our researchers reviewed more than 30 long-term studies on diets and found that any diet actually causes weight gain. This may shock you, but wouldn't you rather know than pretend you're putting this time and effort and maybe your money into these diets where nobody would be on this podcast right now? If you had lost weight and kept it off, be honest, would you be on this podcast? Would you be curious? Is there something else that works? I understand your skepticism. I can tell by how few. I'm willing to give you a free evaluation. Male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, and I'll show you how fast you can lose weight. This is not a diet, it's a detox. Again, if we start, she lost 60 pounds in 90 days on a natural food detox. She'll never diet again, would you? Would you, if you lost 60 pounds in 90 days and kept it off for 9 years like she has, would you go back to dieting? You're not going to do that. You all have to understand, this podcast could change your lives. I don't understand why you're all sitting on your hands. Come on, let's have audience participation. Call me names, do whatever you want to do, but let's have a little interaction. This is live, this is not pre-recorded. I'm doing free evaluations for people based on 800,000 people that we've tracked for 23 years. By the way, most of them have kept the weight off. Do you know the newest studies say the faster you can lose weight, assuming you don't lose lean muscle, there's a 95% chance you're going to keep that weight off for the rest of your life. These are new studies. So instead of losing weight slowly, the faster you can lose it, the better off you are if it's nutritious, which these diets aren't. I would just ask any of you to put in the chat, be honest with me. Do you believe we're living in a toxic world? And do you believe you're toxic? Because you are. And one of your fundamental problems in terms of gaining weight has nothing to do with fast food or lack of exercise. Let me read to you from the latest research. These are not my opinions, by the way, okay? The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to the research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports that the rise in the incidence in obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals. They give these chemicals a name, they call them obesogens. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, from natural compounds found in soy, hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides spread on produce. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, are you listening, ladies? Blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, and essentially reprogram us to gain weight. What in the heck are you doing about obesogens? Nothing until now. This research, where they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proved they were removing obesogens from the body. Not up for debate. No diet has ever removed a gram of obesogens from anybody ever. So what it means is, if you're not interested in this, you're going on diets where there's not one shred of medical evidence, number one, that they work, or two, that they're detoxing your body. The main reason to do this is detoxification. It's not to lose weight. The weight loss is a given. It's a throw-in. It's going to happen. But also it's about sustainability. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. So I'm not quite sure why people are so shy. Why are you sitting on your hands? I'm willing to give you a free analysis. And by the way, we only have 515 likes. If you like the content, tap on the screen. So let's do a review. Who invented this? How does it work? What do you mean it's a detox? Well, first of all, it was invented by the top weight loss researchers in the world, who for 40 years were paid to analyze diets. And in those 40 years, they never found a diet where people lost weight and kept it off. And 2/3 of everybody gained more weight than they lost. And because 25 to 40% of what people, and you included in this, lose on any diet is your lean muscle mass, which slows down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back. But also, it slows down your immune system. And also, we now know the loss of lean muscle mass, 25 to 40% on any diet. Older people, loss of muscle contributes to dementia. So you tell me what you want to do. You want to go on a diet to increase your risk of dementia? Go for it. So these researchers said, there have to be people somewhere in the world who aren't overweight, and they found them in places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. And the secret to these people not being overweight, and by the way, some of them lived to be over 100, was pretty simple. They just had foods in their areas, in their regions, with huge amounts of nutrition. Well, then there were other researchers that have been going there at the same time and brought these foods back. So the researchers thought, wait a minute, what if we combine these foods with regular food? What would happen? That's how this came about. So 30% of what you would buy at the grocery store. So take whatever total you bought last month at the grocery store, take 30% of those dollars. That's all you're going to spend at the grocery store for proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. You're going to get a grocery list from our coaches free. Here's the grocery list. Take it to your grocery store. 30%, only 30% of what you spent, that's all you're going to buy. The other 70% of the money goes towards these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, representing these huge amounts of nutrition in smaller amounts of food. That's what made this work. Then then they invented a new way of eating called protein pacing. It's so advanced, the U.S. Patent Office gave them a trademark for this protocol. So 5 days a week, you'd have 4 meals a day. You'd start with the World's Most Perfect Foods for breakfast, lunch and dinner from the grocery store, and then a last meal at the end of the day, another meal with the World's Most Perfect Foods. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store, only these World's Most Perfect Foods. This time, she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half for 2 hours. Now, why is that so significant? Because it allowed her body to detox. See, every night when you go to bed, as long as you don't eat too late, your body slows down digestion. It has to do that in order to turn on a natural detox mechanism called autophagy, when your body gets rid of dead cells. Every night it happens, as long as you don't eat too late. That's why midnight snacking is a horrible thing to do, okay? But what they did here to prove it was a detox, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis after each 48 hours, because she did this for 3 straight months. So each week, 5 days a week, she was having 4 meals a day, and 2 days a week, she was having 8 meals a day. And on those days, after each 48 hours, they proved through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, this was removing chemicals from the body. What are all of you doing to remove chemicals from your body? Nothing. So is it cool with all of you to store chemicals in your fat cells? Because that's what you're doing. Or do you think it would be valuable if you could assist your body in starting to remove some of the stuff that we're storing inside our body? That's why this works. It's a detox. It is not a diet. The side benefit is this tremendous safe weight loss. Most people, men and women, lose as much weight in 4 days as in 6 weeks of any diet. I'll prove it to you if anybody would like to volunteer and just tell me, are you male or female? Excuse me, how tall you are and what your current weight is. So it's real simple. And again, I don't understand why everybody's sitting on their hands and they don't want to know. I'll give you a free evaluation. Our website even is free to go to. I'm putting it at the bottom. It's called The New Health Conversation, because I think we really need one. Hello, Yankee Key. So there it is right at the bottom, The New Health Conversation. If you go there, we will not contact you. The reason we won't do that is we want you to have the freedom to see the medical proof. If you like what you see, scroll all the way down, it'll say free consultation. But something else I didn't even share with all of you that's really important, because you haven't gone to the website yet. So take your total food budget, take 30% of those dollars, that's what you're going to spend at the grocery store, leaving you 70% of the money to go towards these exotic foods from around the world that come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. Well, if you go to the website, it'll say 100% money back guarantee. That's not totally true. The 30% you're going to spend at your grocery store, if this doesn't work, they're not going to refund your money at the end of 30 days. You're buying 30 days worth of food. The other 30%, the other 70% of the money you spent on these exotic foods around the world, if this doesn't work, 100% money back guarantee, even though you've eaten all the food. And then you get a free consultation and a free coach. Look, nothing's 100%. I would never say that. But damn it, this is probably 99%. So let me ask you, now what's holding you back? What's holding you back from finding out how you could change the rest of your life? Oh, Sexy K gave me a heart. Thank you very much. Who else would like to know? I guess my big question would be, why don't you want to know? What is it about this that you don't think is of value to you? You're not curious. You're not curious how you could maximize your own health and lose weight in 4 days. It would take you 6 weeks on a diet. I don't know. I know how few people take me up on my offer to give you a free analysis. If you tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. Do you think we're lying to you? Do you think that's a fake picture? Do you think this is a fake picture? She had 30 pounds to lose. She lost 21 pounds in a month. And you can look at her stomach on day 1 and her stomach on day 30. It's not body image. That's the detox working. This is literally pulling chemicals out of her body and her fat cells shrink. You don't add fat cells, you don't burn fat cells on a diet or at the gym. Again, that's just another lie. So again, you're just being, let me be kind, you're being misled. Who else would like to know? Who else would like to know? If you tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. This is not a diet, everybody. It is a detox. I'd love for any of the new people, just put it in the chat for me. This is open forum. This is live. This is not pre-recorded. And just in case some of the new people, who the heck is this guy? Here's who I am. Here's my bio. So I've written 4 best-selling books to some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows, appeared 20 times on public broadcasting, 1,500 live lectures around the world in hospitals, universities. They even flew me to China. I was a keynote speaker at Autism One in Chicago, the largest autism conference in the world, 2 years in a row. So I kind of know a little bit about what I'm talking about. But none of what I'm sharing with you is my opinion. The only thing we're sharing with you is medical proof, published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. And the questions I'd have for the new people, do you believe you're toxic? Because if you don't, you're definitely on the wrong podcast. I couldn't be more serious. This is not a diet. This is about allowing your own body to detoxify, allowing your own body to remove chemicals from your fat cells that you're currently storing in your fat. Excuse me, and that's why you're bloated. It's not body image. You didn't get fatter. It's not true. And if we look at a 65-year-old diabetic man, 40 pounds in a month, A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4 in 30 days. That's a 25% reduction in A1C in 30 days. And then if we look at someone like Eric, 45 pounds in a month, that's 1.5 pounds a day. But look at his triglycerides, 229 to 110, bad cholesterol, 145 to 62, blood pressure, 134 over 91, dropped to 102 over 61. That's 30 days, everybody. So again, doesn't anyone want to know? Okay, I'm going to walk you through what they did. I don't know why everybody's being so shy. So first of all, this was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They had spent 40 years being paid to analyze diets, never found a diet that worked. So they said there's got to be people somewhere in the world who aren't overweight, and they found regions in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, where nobody was overweight. And the secret these people had, it wasn't really a secret. Those areas of the world where there were no herbicides, no pesticides, the food simply had really large amounts of nutrition. And what that meant is they could eat less food. I'm going to blow your mind. Diets don't work because you're counting calories. Your body can't count a calorie. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. The only thing your body cares about is nutrition. You're alive because of air, water, and nutrition, not because of calories. So when you go on a diet, you lower the amount of food you're consuming, you're lowering the amount of nutrition. Somebody give me a yes if this is making sense. Everybody's silent. I'm not sure what's going on, but that's okay. The researchers said, okay, we know if we use these foods from around the world in conjunction with regular food, let's see if this can work. So they limited your food. You get a grocery list. You'd take it to your grocery store. But if you took your total expenditure, how much does it cost? Take all the dollars you spent last month at the grocery store and only take 30% of those dollars this time to your grocery store to buy these foods from proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. That leaves you 70% of the money to buy these other foods that come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, representing these huge amounts of nutrition in small amounts of food. And then based on this new model, they invented a new way of eating called protein pacing. You all can look it up. It's on Google. It's a registered trademark. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with the world's most perfect food for breakfast, lunch and dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner, the world's most perfect foods. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store, only these world's most perfect foods. This time, she ate 8 times a day. Now that was significant because it allowed her body to detox. And I know none of you answered, but we are living in a toxic world. We all are toxic. As a matter of fact, there's a new medical syndrome, U.S. Patent Office, called the TDOS syndrome. T for toxicity, D for nutrition deficiency, O for overweight, S is for stress. It was discovered. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office, discovered by this researcher, Peter Greenlaw. Well, everyone, that's me. So I discovered a medical syndrome that everybody in the world has, and I've worked with some of the top medical doctors and oncologists and molecular biologists and geneticists who credit me with opening up the dialogue that we're storing chemicals in our bodies. It's the major reason why you're overweight, but the major reason why you have bloating. You didn't add fat to your body. That's a lie. You have the same number of fat cells at puberty you do when you die. Your fat cells expand or contract. Fortunately on this, they're contracting with no exercise. Nobody, I'm showing you the pictures, was allowed to exercise. They wore Fitbits to prove they didn't exercise. I understand it's too good to be true, but are you willing to take the chance this isn't real? Because otherwise, what's your alternative? You're going to go on a diet, maybe you're going to lose a pound a week. On this, men and women lose in 4 days on average what would take you 6 weeks on any diet. I know, should I make it up and say, well, you can lose as much weight in 4 days as a week on a diet? No, it's not true. It would take you 6 weeks to lose the kind of weight they're losing on this in a week. Women lose a whole dress size in a week. Men are losing 2 to 4 inches off their waist in a week. And yet you all have a free website to go to see the medical proof. You don't have to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. But on the website, what's there? The apps, here we go. There it is, the New Health Conversation. It's a free website to go to. There's nothing there to buy. The only thing there is the medical proof. Are you okay? Because what you're doing, the people you're following, unless somebody can tell me something different, have no medical proof at all. None. Zero medical proof. So do you want, if you were to vote, if you don't do it yet, but a 1 means you're okay with just opinions, because that's all you're getting, versus a 2 in the chat would say, no, I want to go with the medical proof. This protocol is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world dealing with weight loss. This is the most intense medical research that's ever been done in history on weight loss. So who would like to know how much weight you can lose and keep it off? But I can't guess. I don't know what your numbers are. If you tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight. Who would like to know? We're at 500 likes. If you like the content, everybody, just tap on your face of your phone. It'll give me hearts. It'll make me feel good. I've been now on for almost 2 hours. I can tell my voice is getting a little scratchy. I may have to stop here fairly soon to get some water and just take a break and then come back on. Oh, there goes some hearts. Thank you very, very much. So again, any of you, please tell me, do you not want to get a free evaluation? Or why wouldn't you want to do it? I'm not going to lie to you. We've helped. The New Health Conversation is a movement. It's not a company. We don't have anything to sell you. You'll find if you go there, we won't even contact you. What? We don't contact you. Why would we need to do that when it's the medical proof? You either believe in peer-reviewed human trial studies or you don't. If you don't, then you should never take a drug again, because no drug ever gets approved without going through a peer-reviewed human trial study. Not a clinical study, not these company-funded studies where they do the research internally. That's the inmates guarding the asylum. You want third-party independent research. That's what a peer-reviewed study means. And these studies, for example, were done independently at Skidmore College in New York, the researchers are recognized as the top weight loss researchers in the world. Completely independent. All they did, they have no products to sell you. They don't have a company. They're scientists. Again, I would implore Marcia, finally, Marcia, or Marcia, it's probably Marcia. Please don't get mad at me. I'm really a nice person. So, okay, Marcia, how tall are you in your current weight? And I'll blow your mind at how fast you can lose weight. I want you to brace yourself because you're not going to believe probably what I'm going to tell you. So again, Marcia, how tall are you and what's your current weight? And thank you for breaking the ice. At least you're not sitting on your hands. So I'm just waiting for the response and then I'll give you the feedback. 5'1", okay, Marcia, and what's your current weight? Okay, so Marcia, at 5'1", ideal weight for you is about 110. That's 140 pounds. Marcia, get ready. First 4 days. Marcia, not 4 weeks. Brace yourself. First 4 days, 8 to 10 pounds in 4 days. The first month, Marcia, you're probably going to lose about 30. So after 1 month, 220. After 2 months, you should crack 200, let's say 195. Now, it may slow down a little bit on the third month from 195 to 175. The fourth month, 155. The fifth month, 135. The sixth month, about 115. So you're going to be within 5 pounds of your goal within 6 months. Marcia, put it in the chat. How excited are you about those numbers? That's with no exercise. You're going to lose a whole dress size, Marcia, in the first week, and you're going to gain 6 to 9% lean muscle, even if you don't exercise, and you're detoxing your body. And you can go, Marcia, give me a comment. How excited are you? Give me a big adjective. I want a big adjective about that. And you're not an experiment. We've helped 800,000 people that way. Love it. Good, 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 good. So, Marcia, imagine I had this big button, red button, white letters on the top says do over. Use both hands. That's what you're getting a chance to do right now, Marcia. There's no reason that you should have that, carry that burden around. That's not a pun. Marcia, tell me, how excited would you be? Let's say you could start tomorrow, Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days. Friday morning, you get on the scale and you're down 10, 12 pounds. Marcia, how would you react? Would you think your scale's broken? Probably. That's what most people say. Marcia, there's a whole new life waiting for you right out the door. You can do this, Marcia. You get coached. How much is the coaching, Marcia? 0. How much is the consultation? 0. Now, why are we doing a consultation, Marcia? Because we have people with no thyroids. We have people with goiter, with Hashimoto's, with hyperthyroidism, perimenopause, menopause. How about PCOS? How about pre-diabetics? How about diabetics? And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any medical conditions. Don't hear me say that. All we're doing, Marcia, is we're sharing the medical proof that we can talk about. It's legal for us to talk about because it's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. Right, Marcia, I bet you would. Well, good, good. Well, get ready for your cartwheels. So, Marcia, let me ask you a couple other questions, important. Marcia, until this podcast right now, are you aware of, have you seen anybody on TikTok or on YouTube with one shred of medical evidence? Just give me a yes or no. Simple yes or no, Marcia. And anybody else that wants to chime in, the same thing. I will challenge any of you to show me anybody on TikTok or YouTube with one shred of medical evidence. No. So, Marcia, is it safe to say the decisions you were made, everybody think about this once. Nobody can tell me that there's anybody on TikTok or YouTube with any medical proof. This is the first time. So what that means is you have relied, Marcia and everybody else, on nice people, I'm not going to disparage anybody, on social media. But what did they give you, Marcia? Opinions. So what I want you to do, Marcia, is vote. Don't do it yet. A 1 would mean you're going to continue following opinions. A 2 would mean I'm not following opinions anymore. I want medical proof. I want to change my life. I want to make sure it's safe and it's real. So, Marcia, give me a 1 or a 2. Anybody else want to do that as well? A 1 means you're okay with opinions. A 2 means you want to go with the medical proof now, which didn't exist until really, these studies were started about 13 years ago, and they only became public in the last year and a half. So I wouldn't expect a 2, Marcia. Exactly. There you go. But Marcia, you understand you could have a whole new life. Now, Marcia, were you around when I walked through? This is based on food. 30% from your grocery store. That's all you're going to spend of what you spent last month. 70% of the money goes to these other researchers from these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, representing these huge amounts of nutrition in smaller amounts of food. And they call them the world's most perfect foods because they have 300 different nutrients. So unless you're on a prescription for low iron or calcium, you need no other supplements at all. And 5 days a week, Marcia, I'm reviewing just in case you didn't know. So 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. You're going to start with the world's most perfect food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner from your grocery store, and a 4th meal, the world's most perfect foods. Then 2 days a week, you're going to detox by having no food from your grocery store, only these world's most perfect foods. And this time, she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half for 2 hours. Diabetics on this note had insulin spikes. People who weighed 400 pounds weren't hungry. So let me tell you why you're not going to be hungry, Marcia. No, I wasn't. Yeah. So again, Marcia, I'm assuming you want to go with medical science now, according to what you said. So anyway, no, I wasn't when I explained it. Okay, well, I'm going over it with you right now. So let me slow down just a moment. Now, why is it that 2 days out of 7 until you lose your weight, you're eating 8 times a day? And only these foods from around the world. Because, Marcia, in order to detox your body every night when you go to sleep, as long as you don't eat too late, your body basically slows down digestion. It has to do that and turns on, at that point, a natural detox mechanism called autophagy when your body gets rid of the dead cells. That happens every night. That's why late night snacking is so bad. You don't want to do that. And yet people are so hungry, they get up, they got to have something, they'll have a cookie, they'll have a glass of milk, whatever. You don't want to do that, okay? Most people on this, Marcia, after 4 days, all their cravings are gone. But let's go back to the 2 days where you're having 8 meals a day. Because the reason they were able to do this with those foods and not foods from the grocery store, they could give her 8 meals, real small amounts of food that involved almost no digestion, because those foods then were mostly nutrients. It turned on the detox mechanism. Now, how do they know? Because they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved, without a shadow of a doubt, this is removing chemicals from the body. That's why she shrank so much, and that's why she lost so much weight. So, Marcia, give me a yes or no. Does that make sense? Do you understand that? Of course, your coaches would reinforce that even more. So, Marcia, here's the website. You can go there at any moment in time. And the only thing on the website is the medical proof. We will, oh, good. I'm glad it makes sense, Marcia. So there's the website for you right there, The New Health Conversation. Don't do at any of you. Don't do at The New Health Conversation. That's my TikTok site. There's 1,500 videos there, but there's no medical proof, and there's no, you can't get a coach. The coaching is free. The consultation is free. The only thing you buy, nothing from us. 30% of your dollars go to the grocery store out of the total you spent last month, and 70% to these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand that make this work. You could never do this with organic food. They tried it. It didn't work. So are you excited now, Marcia? You understand. It's not just a whim that I'm giving you some number we just pulled out of the air. It's medically proven. We have the medical proof to back up everything I'm saying to you and to everybody else on this podcast. Good, Marcia. And you understand that's the website, so screenshot it. But if you go there, Marcia, we're not going to contact you, so don't think that. We don't do that because we want you to have the freedom to look at the medical proof. And again, if any of you like what you see, scroll down. You get a free consultation and a free coach. We got new people coming on all the time, and we're up to 941 likes. Come on, everybody, get some taps on you. Give me some love here. So again, for the new people, let me explain real quickly, so you don't just think I'm just some guy up here talking. All right, I want to show you my bio, not to impress you, but impress upon you. So I've written 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I appeared 20 times on PBS. I've done 1,500 lectures around the world, including in universities and hospitals. They even flew me to China, and I was a keynote speaker in Chicago at Autism One, the largest autism conference in the world, 2 years in a row. So I'm a nutritional researcher, okay? You got it, everybody? Not to impress you, but I want you to let you know I'm not just some guy up here talking. But I'll tell you this, nothing that I'm sharing with you ever doesn't come from medical studies, what are called peer-reviewed human trial studies, done on human beings, not on mice or rats or chimpanzees, etc. On human beings, third-party validated. The highest level of medical scrutiny in the world are peer-reviewed human trial studies. So, would anybody else of the new people that have come on, what I've been doing for people, if you'll tell me, if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll blow your mind at how fast you can lose weight, just like I did for this last nice lady, Marcia. She's in shock. Most people are. You'll lose as much weight on this in 4 days, man or woman, as in 6 weeks of any diet, and I'll prove it to you. It is not a diet, it's a detox. Everybody should be able to help their own body get rid of these chemicals that we're all storing inside of our bodies. Yes or no? Again, over 1,100 likes. Come on, everybody, let's keep tapping. Let's get those likes up there. We love those likes. Only if you like the content. Don't do it just to do it. If you don't enjoy the content, then don't tap on the screen. I don't need fake adoration. I've done my homework. I've earned the right to be respected. I mean, I spoke over 1,500 times around the world. I did the Anaheim Convention Center with over 12,000 people. They flew me to China. I'm not trying to impress you, but you got to understand I've spent 23 years of my life along with a lot of other people, chasing the silver bullet for obesity. And now I didn't find it, other researchers did, but we're proud that they picked us to bring their research to all of you, including the medical studies are on our website for you to see. Why? Don't be so skeptical that you potentially prevent yourself from changing the rest of your lives. I'd love to have a dialogue with anybody. Anybody want to come on and ask me questions? I'm here. It's free to talk to me. And it's not that I'm some big deal, but when was the last time you had a chance, someone who'd been on a worldwide stage, that you can talk to me one-on-one, and I'll give you free advice. I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight. The people who drop off without even finding out, I mean, you could lose as much weight on this in 4 days as 6 weeks of any diet. Aren't you curious? Don't you want to know? And for all of you, I'm putting it in the bottom in the chat. At any time, you can go to the New Health Conversation. Here it is. Hold on. There it is, the New Health Conversation. You can see it right at the bottom. So who else would like to find out about this? Because I see people have dropped off already, which is pretty normal, I guess. But here's an opportunity for anybody that's on here right now to change the rest of your life, to hit the do-over button. I mean, honestly, most of you, I'll ask all of you, and you probably won't answer. What you've been following are nice people on social media, on TikTok, let's say, and they're medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians, but they don't have any medical proof. I'll challenge any of you. Show me anybody you're following with medical proof. I don't care what they have after their name, MD, PhD, chiropractor, doesn't matter. Unless they have peer-reviewed human trial studies, they're only giving you opinions. So you're basing your future weight loss and health on opinions. When this new protocol is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, it's been vetted, it's safe, it's real, and everything I'm talking about is backed up by medical proof. Why wouldn't you take a look? Don't any of you want to know how much weight you can lose in 4 days? That would take you 6 weeks on a diet. You don't think that would motivate you to continue long term? Well, look at her, 60 pounds in 90 days. I know people want to say, oh, we switch women, it's a different ethnicity. It's all a bunch of garbage. It's the daughter. It's the daughter of a friend of mine. So who else would like to know about for themselves? Or should I just repeat again how they did it? Or I should say how she did it. But it's not just her. Look, Kristen, she only had 30 pounds to lose. She lost 21 pounds in a month. And then Julie over here, how about 35 pounds in 37 days? That's not a misprint. 35 pounds in 37 days. And then if we look at my friend Janet, who lost 100 pounds, and she's kept it off for 13 years. Wait till you see this, everybody. So the picture on the left is when she started 13 years ago. On the right, that picture is about 4 months old. So it's not just she lost the weight, she kept it off. And then we look at Mary here. How about that? That's in 11 months. Look at the change in her body composition. That's health you're looking at. It's not body image, okay? So again, I don't know what I need to do. I'm willing to give you a free consultation. Based on the New Health Conversation, we've helped 800,000 people in 23 years. Not 80,000, 800,000. I see new people coming on all the time. Just give me a yes. Would you like me to explain how she lost 60 pounds in 90 days on a natural food detox? She'll never diet again. Would you? If you lost 60 pounds in 90 days and you kept it off for 9 years, would you go back to keto or paleo or Mediterranean or time-restricted eating? None of them work long-term, by the way. Even Medicare now has come out with a big study. Medicare, this is for new people, Medicare. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. That's Medicare telling you that. They said our researchers at Medicare looked at the long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets and diets to assess whether any diet is an effective treatment for obesity. We found that 2/3 of all dieters ended up gaining more weight than they lost on any diet. That's all of you. I don't care what diet you think you're on and you've lost weight. 2/3 are going to end up weighing more than you did when you started, because you've got to understand that 25 to 40% of the pounds you actually lose on any diet, and especially including the shots, is lean muscle mass. You lose lean muscle mass, it slows down your metabolism. You can't fight this, and you're going to gain all the weight back. A diet doesn't work because it's based on counting calories, or they tell you that's what it is. But really, all a diet is, you reduce the amount of food you're consuming. Well, why is that so bad? Because you're reducing the amount of nutrition. The calories are not a factor. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. You've never counted a calorie in your life. We proved it in my first book, and we don't sell books, by the way, on my website, called Why Diets Are Failing Us. I wrote it with one of the most prominent medical doctors in the health field. And I can't believe that book is 16 years old. We wrote it in 2010. Actually, it came out in December of 2015. So I guess it's technically, no, it came out in 2010. Yeah, so 16 years. I guess I was right. But anyway, who gives a damn about that? We proved that counting calories was ridiculous. Your body can't count calories. I mean, how many of you really believe you're on a diet where you're going to lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life? She lost, like I said, you can see right there, she lost 60 pounds in 90 days on a natural food detox. She'll never diet again. Let me explain to you what they did. The researchers who invented this are the top weight loss researchers in the world for weight loss. They don't have a company. They don't have any products. There are no products on this. Read it. She'll never diet again. No pills, no products. She gained 9% lean muscle, and this is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. So what did these researchers do? Well, for 40 years, they were paid to analyze diets. In 40 years, they never found a diet where people lost weight and kept it off, and 2/3 of everybody who lost weight gained more weight than they lost in the long run, because 25 to 40% of what they lost on any diet was lean muscle. You lose lean muscle, it slows down your metabolism. Why do you think you're gaining all the weight back? You did so great on that diet. You're feeling wonderful. And then now the weight's coming back, because you've got to understand you're fighting against your own human body. You slow down metabolism, you eat the same amount of food, you're going to gain weight. So the solution to this, these researchers found, didn't lie anywhere in, well, the solution lied in these faraway regions in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, where they found these people, nobody was overweight, nobody. And they found that, and some of the people actually lived to be 100 years old. You've heard of them. They call blue zones, or some of you have anyway. And anyway, to make a long story short, they found other researchers that have been going to these areas in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, and bringing these foods that these people were eating, because the key was, it was all about what they were eating. Huge levels of nutrition in small amounts of food. See, you can't be hungry for calories, everybody. It's impossible. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories, doesn't give a damn about a calorie. The only thing your body ever cared about and why you're hungry is through lack of nutrition. That's it, lack of nutrition, nothing else. So the bottom line was, when they realized this, they put a food list together where whatever you spent last month on food, take 30% of those dollars. That's all you're going to spend at the grocery store, and you're going to get a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. The other 70% of the money you have left goes to these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, which the researchers called the world's most perfect foods from a nutritional standpoint. Nothing to do with calories. Then they created a new way of eating called protein pacing. You all can Google it. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. And 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started breakfast, was the world's most perfect food. That was breakfast. Lunch and dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal, the world's most perfect food. Now, why are they calling it the world's most perfect foods? Because those foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand contain 300 nutrients. Not 30, 300. And unless you're on a prescription for iron or calcium, you need no other supplements moving forward. None, zero. So what they did, 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. Like I said, start with the world's most perfect food, lunch and dinner from your grocery store, 4th meal, world's most perfect foods. 2 days a week, no food from your grocery store, only these world's most perfect foods. This time, she ate 8 times a day, and they proved it was a detox. Now, what do I mean by that? The new people on here, do you believe we're living in a toxic world, and do you believe you're toxic? I'd love to get some yeses, but I'm going to move on. You are toxic. We're all drinking, breathing, eating chemicals. And the body, to protect us as those chemicals enter the body takes that chemical and stuffs it inside what's called our visceral fat. The visceral fat is the fat around your organs, and those fat cells expand like a balloon. Well, thank goodness on this, they proved after those 2 days by doing blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, this was removing chemicals from the body. It's not up for debate. We have the medical proof to bring it up. They also lowered inflammation by 25% in a month. No one's ever seen that. Not inflation, inflammation. I want to make sure I'm clear, okay? And people that were pre-diabetic at the end of 30 days weren't diabetic. The diabetics had to cut their insulin by 50%. I'll show you an example. Here's a 65-year-old type diabetic on insulin. He cut his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4 in 30 days. They had to cut his insulin by 50% in 30 days. Look at his stomach on day 1, everybody. Look at his stomach on day 30. That's with no exercise. That's the detox. It has nothing to do with body image, nothing to do with body dysphoria, nothing to do with vanity. It's you want to be healthy, then you want to be detoxing your body. And then let's talk about maintenance. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years by doing what? This morning, before I came in the studio, I had the world's most perfect food for my breakfast. I'm having lunch and dinner, and then every 2 months, I do another 48-hour detox. Actually, I'm going to do one next week because the toxins aren't going on vacation. The main reason to do this is to detox your body. The number 2 reason, believe it or not, is even in the weight loss. It's that you can maintain it. She's kept it off for 9 years. I mean, if you look at the same thing here with, if we look at Eric, he lost 45 pounds and 60 inches in 30 days. And look at his blood work. Triglycerides and bad cholesterol in half in 30 days. Blood pressure, 134 over 91 dropped to 102 over 61. Don't do this to lose weight. You're already making a mistake. The main reason to do this is to make yourself as healthy as possible and to detox your body. So again, who else would like to put in the chat if you'll tell me? I don't understand why everybody's sitting on their hands. If you'll tell me how tall you are and your current, male or female, how tall are you and what your current weight is, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. Would anybody like to do that? Who else would like to let me know? I'm going to give you a free analysis. What do you think? I'm going to criticize you? I'm not contacting you. We don't, if you go to the website, which is right there at the bottom, you can see it right there at the very bottom. We're not going to contact you if you go there. It's free for you to go there and see the medical proof. All right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go another 4 or 5 minutes. Oh, A. Burgess. Okay, so A. Burgess. Okay, I got to ask you a question. This is only available in certain countries. I'm going to give you the countries. Canada, United States, Mexico, Puerto Rico, New Zealand, Australia, and anywhere in the EU. It's not available in South America. It's not available in the Caribbean. It's not available in Africa. Not available in Southeast Asia. So are you in one of the countries, United States, Canada, Mexico, Puerto Rico, New Zealand, Australia, or the EU? Are you in any of those? Perfect. You're good. You're good. We have a lot of people in the Netherlands doing this, so great. I'm happy. All right, so let's deal with you. So you're 168. Okay, you're pretty tall. 165.7. Okay, 140. Okay, so believe it or not, you don't have that far to go. You're basically 79.8 kilos. To ideal weight. Yeah, you're 5'6". I figured that. I converted that. Okay, it's not a problem. But 79 kilos. So at 5'6", I'd say a great weight for you is going to be about 65 kilos. That means, in round numbers, let's just say 15 kilos that you need to lose. Get ready. In the first 4 days, you should lose 3 or 4 kilos just in the first 4 days. The first month, minimum you're going to lose is about 8 kilos. So let's say that gets you down to 72 kilos. The second month, about the same. So basically in 2 months, 64 kilos, you're going to be at your goal weight in 2 months or less. You just tell me, hey, Burgess, how excited would you be about that? In 2 months, you should be around 65, 66 kilos in 2 months. Please put in the chat, what do you think about that? Now, the other thing that I will tell you that's very important, here's the free website to go to where you get a free coach. And if you decide you want to do it, they'll go over everything with you. But here's my point. In order for them to get a hold of you, if you decide you want a coach, because we're not going to contact you if you go there, you must put in your WhatsApp phone number. I'm sure you have WhatsApp, Bird. I'm sure you do. But put in your WhatsApp phone number so the coach can call you, text you, FaceTime. They'll also Zoom. They'll also email. The coaching is free, 100% free. And the only thing you're buying, Burgess, maybe you heard me say it, maybe you don't, is food. Let me review for you. Take all the money you spent last month at your grocery store, take about 30% of those euros or whatever you spend it in. That's all you're going to spend this month because you're getting serving sizes, much less food than you used to buying at your grocery store. The other 70% of the money you're not spending at your grocery store goes to these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, representing these huge amounts of nutrition and small amounts of food. And even as good as your food is in the Netherlands, and it is good, I've been to your wonderful country, but you still are lacking these foods from around the world. They have about 300 different nutrients, not 30, 300. So you don't need any supplements unless you're on a prescription for low iron or low calcium. No supplements you need. Then they're going to show you a new way of eating where 5 days a week, you're going to eat 4 times a day. Starting breakfast, the world's most perfect foods. Lunch and dinner from your grocery store in the Netherlands. And then a fourth meal after dinner. 2 days a week, here comes the detox. No food from your grocery store. Only these exotic foods around the world. This time, like him, you're going to eat 8 times a day. And the reason for that is detox. Because even in the Netherlands, I'm hoping you would agree with me, we're now living in a toxic world, the whole darn world. We're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals. As they enter your body and my body, your body's taking that chemical and stuffing it inside your fat cells, and your fat cells expanding. I'm going to take a guess, but any bloating you would probably complain to me about is caused not because you added fat to your body. That is a total lie. At puberty, you have as many fat cells as you do when you die. And the only thing that happens over your lifetime, your fat cells expand or they contract. On this, after those 48 hours, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved this protocol was removing chemicals from her body and all the bodies, and that's why they shrank. If you look at Julie here, for example, so that's 17.5 kilos in 37 days. 17.5 kilos in 37 days. I'm not promising those numbers. Could you do it? Yes, but I'd rather under-promise and overperform. I don't think you're going to be mad at me if you lose more than what I told you. But I don't want to promise you that. I don't need to, because I know the numbers I gave you are already mind-boggling. I mean, if you ever, just give me a yes or no, Burgess. How excited are you about those numbers and that prospect in basically 2 months being at your goal? Tell me you've ever heard anything like that. The other thing, Burgess, let me ask you a question. Are you aware, Burgess, of anybody on TikTok with one shred of medical evidence? Give me a yes or no. I really want to know. And you're excited. And Burgess, understand, this is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. So it's safe, it's real, it's not guesswork. And you understand that's the website you can go to and you get a free coach and free consultation, and they'll give you the food list and show you how to get those other foods. And then, Burgess, they're going to coach you for free. How much is the coaching? $0. How much is the consultation? $0. But make sure you put your WhatsApp number in if you want to get an analysis from one of the coaches. Oh, let me tell you. Okay, hold on, Burgess. Unfortunately, let me tell you the difference. This is unicity, right? It says unicity. These are largely unsubstantiated hype with no independent evidence for detoxifying the body, reducing inflammation, or preserving lean muscle mass, claims often implied but never proven in studies. Peer-reviewed human trials virtually non-existent in unicity in reputable medical journals. What they cite are mostly internal, company-funded trials, short-term, small-scale bias, plus borrowed science from generic ingredient research. No rigorous independent human trials validate the product's unique efficacy. Nothing stands out. Ingredients are common, soluble fiber, vitamins, plant extracts, repackaged in a proprietary mix. Unicity, no medical proof. You can certainly do it if you want to, but it's not producing these kind of results. I know. It's not even, look, when I tell you that this protocol, it's called protein pacing, is published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, That's not unicity. Nothing wrong with it, but it's not this, and it does nothing to detox your body, does nothing to lower inflammation, and certainly has, in the studies that we saw, or even the company things, it was about 1 to 2 pounds a month. How good is that? 1 to 2 pounds a month. You can see she lost 35 pounds, 17 and a half kilos in a month, in 37 days, sorry. So tell me, Burgess, give me a comment. What do you think about, I just read you the medical, the analysis of unicity. I'm neutral, I don't care. Do it if you want to. But those are the medical facts. They don't have any, they have no real peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Most of the studies were done by the company. Really? That's the inmates guarding the asylum. Yes, Burgess, but you need to make sure if you're anemic, you're probably already taken some type of ferron and iron supplement. And if you're not, and they haven't even told you that, you should get an iron supplement liquid and put it under your tongue, take it sublingual. Maybe you're already doing that. Like I said, the only thing is that if someone's on a prescription for low iron or low calcium, then they need those supplements specifically for that. Other than that, this has everything, including fiber. Look, it has over 300 nutrients. Unicity has about 10. Which one would you choose? Which would you think would be better for your body, Burgess? 10 nutrients or 300? I mean, this contains things like this, these foods from around the world contain what are called trace ionic minerals. You can look it up. There's 70 of these minerals we need, and in the best organic food you could find at your grocery store, you get 20 out of 70. What about the other 50? You just don't get them. But in this protocol, all 70 are in there. That's just one example of the 300 nutrients. So it's real clear. You want 300 nutrients or 10? You tell me which one you choose. Am I making sense, Burgess? I know, yeah, I guess I can call you Burgess. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name in Dutch, but I'm doing my best imitation. So Burgess, that's making sense, right? But also, Burgess, understand, it's not my opinion. It's published in 10. How come Unicity's not in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world? You know why? Because the claims they're making are what are called unsubstantiated. They would never hold up to the scrutiny of a real medical journal. It's that simple. For example, Burgess, no drug that you're taking now ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed study. I mean, it's ridiculous. With the little bit of weight you have to lose, you could be there in 2 months, and then it's sustainable. Listen, I lost 20 kilos in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Breakfast this morning, the world's most perfect food. Lunch and dinner from my grocery store, and then every 2 months, I do another 48-hour detox. Not to lose weight anymore, but to just, because the toxins aren't going on vacation. Unicity does nothing to remove toxins from your body. Nothing. Zero, nothing. They don't have a shred of evidence in that area. None. Yeah, I get really emotional. Nice people, nice company. I'm not going to despair, but it's not this. It's like silly. It's silly to try to compare that to this. You think Unicity's got people losing 35 pounds in 37 days when they're losing a pound a month, 2 pounds a month? It's so silly to even think there's anything like this on the planet. And you're fortunate because it is available in the EU, including the Netherlands, including France and Germany and Finland and the UK, etc. But it's not available everywhere in the world. I have a lot of people that are disappointed, like I live in South Africa, and they really want help. I don't have anything to do with it because we don't ship anything. We have no products. We're scientists. Cool? Are we good? Are we good, Burgess? You understand now? And here's the website you can go to if you want. It's right here under your name. Hold on, and that's where you would go and get a free consultation and fill out the form, free consultation, but make sure you put in your WhatsApp phone number, or otherwise they won't be able to get a hold of you. The consultation's free, zero. The coaching the whole time is zero, free. You buy nothing from us or the coaches. You're going to buy what I said, 30% from your grocery store, 70% from these foods around the world. Who else would like to ask me a question, or have me give a full evaluation. If you tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how much weight you can lose in 4 days. It would take you 6 to 8 weeks on any diet. Who would like to know? Who would like to know how much they can lose in what period of time? Oh, good. I'm glad we're friends. We're friends from across. I'm in Denver, Colorado. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe big mountains, big mountains. It's 8 o'clock in the morning here. I know that it's, let me just take a guess, 4-3. It's either 3:19 or 4:19 in the afternoon in the Netherlands now. Am I correct? 3 or 4, right? Because I think you're 7 hours ahead of me. I always love my international audience. I always want to make sure I got so many time zones. I got people all over the world. Like, for example, later today, all my people in Australia and New Zealand, they'll all be coming on around 3 or 4 o'clock in Denver, which is 9 or 10 o'clock down under. It's okay, Burgess, you don't have to tell me, but I'm pretty sure, everybody, that they're like 7 hours ahead in the Netherlands. So who else would like me to give a free evaluation? I just need to know, are you male or female, how tall you are, and your current weight, and I'll tell you how much weight you can lose in 4 days that would take you 6 weeks on any diet. Look, diets are dead. She quit diets forever, lost 35 pounds in 37 days with a natural real food detox and a smarter way to eat. Who isn't interested in that? You know what, everybody? I'm going to keep going, but I need to get a throat lozenge or I'm not going to have a voice. Please stand by. I'll run. I'll be back within 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds. Don't go away. Okay, I'll be right back. Well, I hope I kept my word. I think that was 30 seconds. I had to get a throat lozenge because if I lose my voice, a lot of people are going to be disappointed at being able to change their lives. So, I had the same throat thing a week ago, dedicated to help people even with a scratchy throat. Well, it's not scratchy throat, it's more fatigue, I believe, because I'm not sick. But anyway, hello, Aileen. Nice to see you this morning. So again, who else would like to know, if you'll tell me, are you male or female, how tall you are, and your current weight, I'll tell you how much weight you can lose in 4 days. That would take you 6 weeks on any diet. But before I do that, why don't I explain to you why your diet, whatever one it is, won't and can't work long term. A diet is simply based on reducing the quantity of food you're consuming. They may call it counting calories, which is nonsense because your body can't count calories, doesn't have any idea what a calorie is. It's never measured a calorie. You can't be hungry for calories because your body doesn't know what it is. So here's why your diets don't work. You lower the amount of food you're consuming, but what are you really lowering? The amount of nutrition. Your hunger can only be stemmed. There are 2 hormones in your body that control your hunger. One is called ghrelin. That tells us we're hungry, otherwise we'd starve to death. The hormone that tells you you're full is called leptin. So you got an on and an off switch. On is ghrelin, off is leptin. What happens when you go on these diets and you reduce the amount of food you're consuming, you're reducing the amount of nutrition. And the brain only calculates how much nutrition there is to run all your organs. Your organs don't run on calories, your organs run on nutrition. So now you go on a diet, you reduce the amount of food, you reduce the amount of nutrition. The brain freaks out because you're not full. So leptin is not satisfied. If you don't satisfy, leptin is calculating, is there enough nutrition? Well, the reason you have such a terrible time on diets, maintaining your willpower, you're fighting against your own body. Your body's telling you, I'm hungry. It really is. But it's not hungry for calories. It's not hungry for more bacon and eggs. It's hungry for more nutrition. And supplements don't do it. Supplements, you need to get the nutrition from food. Now, how do you do that? Well, that was the dilemma that the researchers who created this had. Because for 40 years, 4 decades, they have been paid to analyze diets. And on every diet, they used organic food, and they had all different combinations: paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted, carnivore, fasting, water fasting, didn't matter. They never found a diet where people lost weight and kept it off, and sadly, 25 to 40% of the pounds people lost on any diet was lean muscle mass, which slows down metabolism, and that's why you gain all the weight back. But let's back up for just a moment. The key to this, what the breakthrough that these researchers had, they didn't find these people, but other researchers did. They found these people in parts of the world where nobody was overweight. What? Men, women, children, nobody was overweight. And what they found is that those people didn't care about how much was on their plate. They didn't count calories. They just, and didn't necessarily know this, but the foods they had in the regions they were had huge amounts of nutrition. And these people were in places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. But what was even more unique is when the researchers realized that if they took certain foods from different areas, I'll give you an example. Like some of the foods from Mongolia had this ingredient that lowered stress in the body. Well, it wasn't available in the United States or France. It wasn't available in Russia. Wasn't available, let's say, in the Himalayas. Then there was an ingredient in the Himalayas that wasn't available anywhere else in the world. So when they put these combinations together from these, let's say, 5 or 6 different countries, they felt they put together what was called the world's most perfect food. But it was based on food. There were no supplements. There are no supplements. There are no pills, lotions, potions. This is based on food, which collectively, the food you'd be eating on this has over 300 nutrients. Let me repeat that. The foods you would eat on this, at least 70% of the food, I'll clarify that in a moment, have 300 nutrients. So unless you're on just had a lady, she needs iron. Okay, she needs an iron supplement. But other than iron and calcium, you don't need any nutrients at all. The whole principle behind this was, if you can give your body enough nutrition, you'd be amazed at how little food you actually need to eat. But how do you do it? Even if you do organic in whatever country you're in, our food is becoming more and more nutritionally insufficient. So the researchers put together, the people who created this, not the ones who found these foods in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, the researchers put a grocery list together that you would actually take to the grocery store of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. You got it? But only 30%, if you took your total food budget last month, about 30% of it, that's all you're going to need to spend at the grocery store, because you're buying way less quantity of food, way less. Now that's being offset by the 70% of the money you have left to go to these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, with these 300 nutrients and nutrients that aren't available anywhere else in the world. So basically what you're doing now, you're setting yourself up to do what? To satisfy leptin. Now here's how they did it. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started breakfast, the world's most perfect foods. Lunch and dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal, the world's most perfect foods. Now that was really important. It's called protein pacing. They actually got a registered trademark of the U.S. Patent Office proving this was the most superior way of eating and weight loss ever invented by mankind. So what she was doing is, it's called protein pacing, because you're pacing not just the protein, but the nutrition over, let's say, about 12 hours. And they found that was the most effective way to do it. And then 2 days a week, she had no food from the grocery store, only these world's most perfect foods from around the world. And this time, she ate 8 times a day. What? Yes, no food from the grocery store. But again, leptin is satisfied by what? Enough nutrition. So she was getting small amounts of food, but huge amounts of nutrition, which also, by the way, allowed her body to do what? Detox. Now, in case you didn't know, last night when you went to bed, as long as you didn't eat too late, every night it happens, your body does what? Suspends digestion. When you suspend digestion, it turns on a natural detox mechanism in all of us called autophagy, when your body gets rid of the dead cells. It happens every night. You don't have to do anything, as long as you don't eat too late. That's why getting up and snacking and to have a cookie or a glass of milk is horrible for you. Horrible. So the researchers, to prove it was a detox, so remember, 2 days a week, no food from the grocery, only these World's Most Perfect Foods 8 times a day. So she was getting really small amounts of food, but huge amounts of nutrition. So that's why, like, for example, diabetics in this, no one had insulin spikes, but the people who weighed 400 pounds weren't hungry. Because remember, what turns off your hunger? The hormone called leptin, Leptin. You can look it up. And what they proved, and they went one step further, they did blood stool, urine, and fat analysis, and proved this is removing chemicals from the body. Not up for debate. So it's a detox. But also what they found, like type 2 diabetics and pre-diabetics on this, at the end of 30 days, were no longer pre-diabetic. The diabetics had to cut their insulin with the help of their doctors by 50% in a month. And a big one, inflammation. It came down 25% in a month. No diets ever showed this ever. And then maintenance, world's most perfect food for breakfast every morning, lunch and dinner. Now, why would you do that? Because the toxins don't go on vacation. I do a 48-hour detox about every couple of months. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do one next week. I'm looking forward to it because I feel so great. It's like I'm giving my cells an oil change. No diet any of you are on has produced anything like this. The only thing you do on a diet, you lose weight, and sadly, 25 to 40% of the weight you're actually losing is your lean muscle mass. So say you lose 20 pounds, 5 to 8 pounds of that is muscle, not fat. That's a lie. You don't burn fat on a diet. You don't burn fat on at the gym. Total nonsense. You have the same number of fat cells at puberty you do when you die, and your fat cells can expand or they can contract. And fortunately here, they're contracting as you begin to pull toxins out of your body. Most women on this lose a whole dress size in a week. Men, 2 to 4 inches off your waist in a week. I lost 8 inches of my waist in 14 days, 23 years ago in 7 weeks, where I also lost 40 pounds, 20 kilos in 7 weeks. There's nothing like this on the planet. And instead of me giving you sales gibbly-gook, it's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. So it's safe, it's real. We don't have to make claims. We don't make any claims because we get the medical proof to back it up. I'll challenge any of you. Put in the chat if you know of anybody on social media with one shred of medical evidence. Anybody, one shred of medical evidence. Who would it be? Give me a yes or no if you know of anybody. Well, Sharib, if you tried to contact us and we didn't get back to you, something was terribly, terribly wrong. Because we're very good. Normally we get back to people within 24 hours. I'm not saying you did this, but are you sure you didn't do? Yes, she's asking you, who did you try to contact? Because the contact point is this. Not at. If you did at, that's why you didn't get contacted. At won't do you. If you did at, the New Health Conversation, there's no way, because that doesn't go, that goes to my TikTok site where I've got 1,500 videos. There's no medical proof and there's no way to get a coach. I just put it in the chat. The New Health, I'll tell you what I'll do for you, Sharib. You go there right after this. I'll make sure you get a coach call today. But you got to go to the New Health Conversation. I'm not saying you didn't, and I'm not saying we're perfect. You may have slipped through the cracks. But it's very unusual that we don't get back to you within 24 hours. Then something's wrong. We've helped 800,000 people, so obviously 800,000 people got through to us. I'm not saying you didn't. You did it incorrectly. I'm giving you what you can do if you want. But I will personally, I started the New Health Conversation. I'm responsible. And if you didn't get contacted, I'm apologizing for everybody immediately. But before I criticize anybody, I want to make sure you went to the New Health Conversation, not at the New Health Conversation. Do you remember, Sharib, at the time? And Sharib, did I do a personal analysis for you? Did I tell you Are you male or female? How tall you are and your current weight? Did I do that for you? Or did you just, it's okay if I didn't, but I'm willing to do that for you right now as well if I did not do it. If I did, then obviously I don't need to repeat it for you. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. And Sharib, I would ask you the same thing. Are you aware of anybody on TikTok with one shred of medical evidence until this and now? Because if you went to the website, you would have seen the medical results, and it was an interview there with the #1 weight loss nutrition researcher in the entire world. So anyway, Sharib, that's up to you. I hope you will give it a second go. When you said I try to contact them, that's us. I mean, it's my podcast. It's my movement. I'm the one responsible. So bottom line, here's the guy. If you want to be mad at anybody, it's me. I take full responsibility. I'm not worried. We've helped too many people, okay? So again, I'd just like to know, are you sure you went to The New Health Conversation, not at The New Health Conversation? That's all. Again, who else would like to know if you'll tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight? I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. Yes or no? I mean, yes or no, only in the fact that I'll give you based on, we've helped 800,000 people in 23 years. We know if you're male, female, how tall and the current weight. We tracked people. We know how much weight they were able to lose in what period of time. So everything that I would give to you is based on medical proof, not on opinions. Again, I'm just waiting for anybody to tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight. Or let's look at some medical proof, okay? For any of you thinking that you want to venture out and do a diet, okay? Here's Medicare. They're trying to lower healthcare costs. The study is Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The researchers at Medicare reviewed the long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether any diet is an effective treatment for obesity. The researchers found that 2/3 of all dieters on any diet regained more weight than they lost. So what Medicare is telling you is, whatever diet you're on, 2/3 of you are going to end up weighing more than you did when you started. Does that sound like a reasonable outcome? I don't think it is. And again, Sharif, I still invite you to please go to the website and put your information in. Thanks, Aileen. I appreciate a rose. I got a rose and a heart. I'm doing good. So beautiful. I know the transformation is really unbelievable for her. And before anybody says it's a different woman, that happens to be the daughter of a friend of mine. So we're not making things up as we go. So who else would like to know about how much? It doesn't matter what happened to her. It's what's in it for you. I get it. It's okay. Be selfish. I'm willing to give you a free personal consultation, and you either want to do it or you don't. I'm not going to force you, and I'm not trying to convince you. But what diet do you think you're going to go on where you're actually going to lose weight and keep it off? It doesn't exist as far as we can tell. And when you look at the national, let me see if I can find this here. What's happening to all of us is we're really being, yeah, here it is. Here's a 12-month study, everybody. And in this 12-month study, they named all the major diets. I'm going to read them off to you real fast. Mediterranean diet, which has been considered the #1 diet in the world 9 years in a row. The keto diet, the paleo diet, low carb diet, Atkins, South Beach, Weight Watchers, carnivore, time restricted eating, et cetera, et cetera. In 12 months, the weight loss, the least amount of weight loss was actually on this time restricted eating, which is a total scam. They lost 7 to 11 pounds in a year. That's not even a pound a month. Most of the diets were 11 to 15 pounds in a year. Carnivore was about 16. Mediterranean voted #1 diet 8 years in a row. Only 8 to 13 pounds lost in a year. She lost 60 pounds in 90 days. Which one would you choose? You're being so misled, all of you. You're being misled. They're giving you opinions. I'll challenge. I'd love for anybody to put in the chat. Is anybody on this podcast aware of anybody on social media with one shred of medical evidence. I'd love for anybody, I love audience participation. Come on, put it in the chat for me. Is anyone, just a yes or a no, is anyone aware of anybody on social media with any peer review? You're following these people who are like, they're giving you recipes and then they charge you $50 a month to coach you to do what? Make a souffle? It's just silly. It's just silly. And Medicare, I mean, the big search engines, we had them go and look at TikTok and YouTube to find, was there anybody other than the pharmaceutical companies, they have medical proof, and now these 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. We said, is there anyone on TikTok with any peer-reviewed human trial studies? Now remember, the search engines are neutral. They don't care. They just were doing a job. Can we find anybody? Here's what they said: TikTok and YouTube, major weight loss and health influencers, have no peer-reviewed trials to back up their claims. It's all about opinions and anecdotal evidence. Top influencers, despite massive followings, lack any substantial body of medical proof. Instead, they rely on borrowed interpretation of existing science, personal anecdotes, self-experiments, hyper-driven claims, promoting unproven biohacks, diets, and supplements with no peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. So they can't find anybody on TikTok or YouTube with any medical proof at all. Oh, they're nice people. I'm not going to disparage them, but you're following opinion. You're trusting your health to an opinion. I don't care if it's an MD or a PhD or a chiropractor or a dietitian or a nutritionist or a fitness trainer. They don't have any medical proof. They're just giving you opinions. And you all are being led down this primrose path to disaster. You're headed down a road at 100 miles an hour and there's a brick wall at the end. You're going to hit the brick wall and bounce back. Hope you bounce back anyway. You're going to lose weight and it's all going to come back and more. 2/3 of you are going to weigh more than you did when you started on any diet, according to all the medical research. Who else would like to know? If you tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how much weight you can lose. We still have a bunch of people on here. Do any of you want to know? Why are you all, some of you have been on here for like an hour. I've seen you. Great. Thank you for hanging in there. Let me do something for you, not to you, for you. I'm a really nice person. I hope I'm not scary. We're on your side. Just tell me if you want. Are you male or female? How tall you are, your current weight, and I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight on this. Yes or no? Who would like to know? There is no diet that can compete with this. There isn't one on the planet. And like I said, I know I'm repeating myself, even Medicare. Again, I want to read to you, Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. In summary, they did all these big studies on diets and found that 2/3 of everybody on any diet regained more weight than they lost. What in the world are you doing? Stop dieting. I mean, she lost 60 pounds in 90 days. She'll never diet again. Neither will Julie. Diets are dead. She quit diets forever. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days with this real detox. You think she's going to go on a diet? You think she ever produced those kind of results on any diet? And any of you? 35 pounds in 37 days? Come on. But look at her body. Look at how much she shrank. I don't understand. You all could actually lose as much weight in 4 days as 6 weeks of any diet safely and keep it off. I mean, look at this wonderful lady here. Wonderful. Look at that, 211 months. Look at the change. She was happy before, but I think she's happier now. I mean, here's a 65, sorry. Yeah, that's my bio. Forget about that. A 65-year-old man, 40 pounds in a month. In a month. But look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. How about 30 days, 40 pounds? I'm not going to promise you that, but is it possible? Hell yeah. Because I'll show you, Eric did even better. 45 pounds in 30 days. But look at his blood work, triglycerides and LDL, half in 30 days. And blood pressure, 134/91 dropped to 102/61 in 30 days. 30 days. Who else would like to pipe up? And then I'll show you our record holder. Our record holder, This guy here, 390 pounds. 60 pounds in a month. 60 pounds in a month. That's 2 pounds a day in a month. What do you think about that, everybody? Is it photoshopped? Is it the same person? Did we look at his stomach? Now he has a ways to go, of course. But you think he's pretty happy with 60 pounds in a month? Now, granted, I think he's 390. I think he was 390 when he started, and after a month, he was like 330. Well, you tell me what you think. And the point is, she lost 60 pounds in 90 days on her natural food detox, period. That's it. So who else would like to ask me a question? Anybody? Sorry, it's live. I had to blow my nose. But at least you know it's live. It's not AI. It's not pre-recorded. So I'm just waiting. Everybody's sitting on their hands. What else can I do for everybody? Do you want me to walk through again how you do it? We have new people coming in here all the time. And I'm more than happy to give you a rundown of how much weight you can lose, how fast on this. Would anybody like to know? I mean, she lost 21 pounds in 30 days. She only had 30 pounds to lose. Look at her stomach on day 1. Look at her stomach on day 30. That's not body image. That's medical. She shrank because she's detoxing her body. The bloating any of you experience is not because of you added any fat. It's because your fat cells are housing chemicals and they're causing them to expand. Let's see if I've got, here's Andy, a younger guy. 45 pounds in 60 inches in 30 days. His A1C from 7.9 to 6.2. His bad cholesterol in half from 120 to 59 in 30 days. He looks a lot happier on the right than he did on the left. When I look at that picture, I always think that. Now, everyone, what about if none of these people you're looking at here exercise? What happens if you exercise? What if you don't have any weight to lose at all? I'm going to show you now a young man, 43 years old, a surfer, lives in Nicaragua, who goes to the gym 6 to 7 days a week. I'm going to show you the transformation in 11 days. 11. Not 11 weeks, 11 days. Now, he didn't want to lose weight. That's not the point. When you see his change in his body composition, it'll blow your mind. So it goes from day 1 to day 12, but it's 11 days. So whenever I show you the picture, it's the morning of day 1, the morning of day 5, the morning of day 12. There you go. Look on the left, that's day 1. Pretty darn good shape. But 4 days later, so when I say day 5, that's the morning of day 5, and then day 12, that's 11 days. So it's the morning of day 12. Look at the abs. Look at that transformation. This is not a diet. That's a result of the detox of his fat cells shrinking and increasing lean muscle mass with no well, he is exercising. I don't want to mislead you. But I'd love some comments about that. What do you think about that transformation just in 11 days? Say someone's on here who's in really good shape. That shows what's possible. Again, who else would like to ask me a question, etc.? I feel like we're kind of stuck. No one is asking me. No one's encouraging me. No one's, whatever. Would anybody else like to know? If you'll tell me if you're male or female, how tall you are and your current weight, I'll tell you how fast you can lose weight. I've now been 3 hours. So after 3 hours, I'm going to rest my voice. I'll probably take a short break, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then come back on. Upper body looks stronger, better muscle mass. Yeah, way better muscle mass, exactly. So who else would like to ask a question, or if you put in the chat, if you're male or female, how tall you are, your current weight. I'll show you how much weight you can lose in 4 days. It would take you 6 weeks on any diet. Would anybody like to know? Would anybody like the help? Would anybody like to change their life today? Yes or no? Anybody? I'm going to wait about a minute, and then I'm going to end this podcast. No takers? All right, everybody, I'm going to end the podcast. Thank you all for being here very, very much. And like I said, it's now 11:15 on the East Coast. So probably about 11, I'll come back on. But at any time, everybody can go to the website. It's free to go there. Here it is, the New Health Conversation. And that website, if I would spell it right, would even be better. So it's the new. There we go. That's the website you can go to, and the only thing there is the medical proof. If you like what you see, scroll down, and you get a free coach and a free consultation. You got it, everybody? All right, everyone. Thank you all for being here, and I hope tomorrow, for example, during the week, I'm always on at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then I try and do one every couple hours, so 4 to 5 podcasts a day. We're trying to reach as many people as we can. Okay? Thank you all very, very much. Bye-bye.